We are red. Red is on.
It will open this meeting of Thursday, March 10th, 2016. Let the record show Selectman Fogg is not present at the moment. I believe he's coming, right? Do we know?
Oh, I didn't hear he wasn't.
As I know, we haven't heard to the
Selectman
contrary.
Scanlon is on his way. So we will start out by making a motion to accept a donation to the Parks Commission from Catherine Dawson for $200. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's what it says.
Before we go any further, what was the donation?
I abstained.
Catherine abstains from that.
So it's 2 to abstain.
Yeah.
What was the donation?
A donation.
No, I want to know what the donation is.
Park Commissioner.
If it's money of some sort,
Oh, yeah, it's
yay.
money. Monetary.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I
200
misunderstood the question.
No, I didn't, not the reason for the donation.
I was,
Was it the loam or
Yeah.
seeds or?
no, I'm sorry, it was monetary, thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine.
Welcome.
I would like to say one thing before we start into the minutes. Yesterday was 1-year anniversary for our Selectmen's Assistant or Administrative Assistant.
Oh, yay!
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Clearly an asset to our team.
Clearly.
Yes.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
I have no plans on going anywhere else with any other job.
Thanks.
Outstanding.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right.
Not that we'd let you.
Yeah, that's true. All right, make a motion, we bring the minutes of March 3rd to the floor for discussion.
Well, yeah, but it's a
Second.
company.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, here comes Peter. Hi.
John will be in a couple minutes, he's just pulling in.
We've already started, we're halfway through.
Sweet. Motion to adjourn? Not quite?
Almost.
Well, my clock is different from this clock downstairs. I have to set my clock by this clock.
I don't think there's a clock the same in Town Hall. I think we should get atomic time clocks.
That one's only a minute or less. Really? I don't think I'm I'm more a blue boy,
Oh,
but
nice color. You should have saved it for next week, though.
why?
St. Patrick's Day.
You mean I can't wear it again?
Yes, you did. Sorry, Chair. Carry on. Thank you for bringing this up.
Oh, I'm looking at the Selectmen's reports. Selectman Constantino announced that there's a spaghetti dinner fundraiser scheduled at the Senior Center on March 26th. I understand that that's been rescheduled.
They don't have a date yet. I talked to Emily yesterday. It had been rescheduled because they didn't feel that they could get it all together and then be ready to do the floor on Thursday.
Number 3, under Town Administrator Report, Housing Standards. And maybe it was me, but it wasn't reviewed by the local government center. It was sent down there, and then we referred it to our attorney, Dan Crean, who reviewed it.
So that's been forwarded?
I can't tell you if they reviewed it or not, but,
So
and
it's
it's,
to the local government center?
Forwarded to the local
Yeah.
government, reviewed by our attorney, Dan Crean.
it was reviewed by Dan.
Actually, I wish you had quoted me verbatim on that, my dismay on the Belknap.
I can certainly,
No, that's right. Fine.
In Belknap County?
the reps and all.
I think that's
It's really
good.
Adjourn. Any other corrections, additions, omissions? The motion, we accept the minutes as corrected.
Second?
All of those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Johnny here?
He's
Yeah.
at the bottom of the staircase.
I thought he was following me, but I guess not.
He's talking to Heather.
Waylaid?
All right, I can
Yeah.
fix that up.
I'm still.
All right.
That could be a while. Chief's
tell him
not
how
here,
it-
we can't pull the chief in now.
Some he'll have to stay, wait until the end if he doesn't get up here.
Jim's report.
Oh, I was wondering what that was, thank you.
Johnny, I didn't see a report sent to us ahead of time.
Thank you. I've been working on it. I mean, crazy week. I can get it to you guys tomorrow if you don't mind waiting one more. You guys are early. I was like, I'm in a hurry. I'm not on till 5.
4:45.
It said 5.
We're 4 minutes early, John. It says 4:45 here.
I thought I saw 5.
Well, there you go.
All right,
All right.
go. What do you got for us?
Well,
Andrews Road.
Andrews Road, I did go look at it.
Yep.
Nothing really out of the ordinary. It's a no salt road, so you're gonna end up using more sand.
But 15
Seemed like it
feet
was quite a ways back onto
onto the
lawn.
ground, right? I walked it.
I think some of that is the lawnmower over the years. You look and you can generally see, Freddie cannot get the speed up there. He's swinging a corner, on Andrews, he swings a corner, he's starting from 0, moving along, so he's going, what, 10 or 15 miles an hour tops?
Because what happens there, you are at the V.
Yeah?
He's not getting plowed twice there. What he's getting is, Fred is coming up to the split,
Yeah.
and he is plowing and cleaning up the intersection. So there is one point at the intersection where Fred is pushing the snow onto. That wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing to clean that up. And I've talked to the guys to find out, hey, what's the history here? And I know that last year they cleaned up that intersection.
It's the only year.
That's the only year that they did it. So we do put more snow there than, it's not unnecessary, we have to put it somewhere.
Did you take a look up?
Yeah, I didn't, the thing of it is for me, he's got pine trees growing all along his perimeter.
Where you have a bunch of pine trees, you're not gonna have a lot of grass.
No, there's too much acid in the
But there's all
soil.
little pebbles, maybe
But here's the
10,
thing.
15 feet. That's what I was concerned
Is he
with.
getting any more sand on, and the other thing is too, we have a right-of-way there.
You have a right of way, I don't know
So-
exactly. but
Is he getting any more sand on, from the edge of the road in than anybody else?
He'll get more because he's on the first pass.
Right.
Yeah, because
Coming out, he's,
So is everybody gonna get more on the
On
first
that
pass,
side,
or
yeah.
just him on the corner?
no, everyone on that side, but he's the only one until you get down to Gail
That
Spellman.
means we'd have to go out and clean the sand off of everybody's.
Well, there's only two
There's only
properties.
2 properties there. There's
Gail Spellman.
Gail Spellman and him.
Okay, so you'd have to clean hers as well.
well, if you went with that,
I mean,
I'd like
and
to have
then you'd
mine
have,
clean.
yeah, and then you'd have to go down into the
Talk to
village of
District 3.
Lockmere and,
if you went
Good
with
luck.
that theory, you would have to clean everybody's property. If that was the
Yeah, you
theory
could
in
come to
general-
my house too.
And come to my house.
Yeah, but if you went with that theory in general, everybody would have to clean, every municipality, including the state, would have to clean
But I
everybody's
think,
lawn.
I walked that property,
You can plow my road and I'll clean it.
and I think that
I'll bet you would. Okay.
there was an exceptional amount of pebbles and sand way beyond the up by his driveway, way
That-
beyond his,
that-
the,
That's either runoff or his lawnmower.
It can't be us because there's no rocks like that in the sand that we use.
Yeah.
There's some, but it's like,
It's some 3/8.
Not like that.
how big was
There is
it?
some, but not like that.
little tiny things. It's,
Yeah, if it's 3/8, it's like a 3/8 minus.
I didn't
the
see
issue
anything
that I
there
had-
that I thought there was anything unusual there.
the problem that I have is, if you take Maple Court Way where it's a dead-end street and you plow up on the hill, it becomes a dumping ground for that sand that you push up with, if we had a lot of snow. And at the end of the season, before the sweepers come, if you've got probably 6 inches of just sand at the end there because it's a dead-end street. Well, all the pebbles go up on that hill, and so the homeowners that are around there rake it down as much as they can, but you get these little pebbles that are all up along that banking, because that's where the plow puts it. That's what I was seeing on the, when I was walking down Andrews and then up, is it Ruby?
Crystal.
Crystal. Up Crystal, though I didn't see so much on Crystal as I did by the driveway, about 10 feet. It was that same kind of pebble that you would see in the gravel or sand that you'd put on the roads.
Yeah, probably
Which
what
I see in my, at the end of Maple Court.
Yeah,
Now-
you're probably seeing some 3/8.
Was that near his driveway?
It was it was probably about 15 feet from his driveway and going back about maybe 10, 15 feet into his yard from the road, from the edge of the pavement.
Trying to remember now if at one point he had a little tractor with a plow. If you got a snow blower and you go through your snow bank, the stone in it,
Then you would
it's
see
gonna
that.
get
Right.
scattered.
But this wasn't, this was on the right, if you're looking at his house, it was on the right-hand side of the big pine tree. It was next to his driveway, so that wouldn't, all his runoff from the driveway would be on the other side of the pine, would be on the left-hand side of the pine.
Unless I'm snow blowing and I'm throwing it in to my right as I'm going in, away from, around the trees.
It was too laid down, straight, even, all the way down, like somebody was
Well, the
even.
unfortunate part that you gotta think about is the fact that it is a no-salt road. And the unfortunate part is, on a no-salt road, you're gonna end up using more sand.
But why is that then, if that's the case, then why on the opposite side of the road are you not getting that same kind of,
It's two times on Finogle's side, one time on the widthwise. He's running the wing, so he's gonna be,
Because if let's say you're going down Route 3.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, your road, to put it in perspective.
Right.
There's no, once we get up past, we plow your road with a little truck, a 550 usually, sometimes a pickup truck. You can't really do it too well with a big truck. So with that type of truck, we have the ability to turn the plow to the left, because there's no houses over on the other side of you. So why push all the snow in your yard and driveway when we can just send it all that way?
Because it's fun.
It's logic, you know.
Not
So we
bad.
just push it off to the left. You have a bonus there that a lot of people don't get. So we just push it off to the left. Now, with these other trucks, like the one that plows that road, you have a one-way plow and a wing that always goes to the right. So this road is only, I didn't measure the road, I'm just gonna say 20 feet for argument's sake. That plow is probably 10 feet. The wing is probably gonna be another 9 feet at the minimum. So, you know, by the time you add all that up, you're talking, you know, because you got an angle, you're talking probably closer to 13 feet, 14 feet, because of the angle and stuff. So when you're making your first run in on a snowstorm, you got 13, 14 feet that you're plowing out. So you're getting on a small road with some shoulders and everything. So the first run in, you're trying to find the center of the road, but you can't always get it. That's going to take the majority of the snow, along with whatever has been laid down before for sand, and picking it up, and it's shooting it all off to the right. There's nothing you can do about it because you don't have the ability to change anything. So you plow your way in, you get all squared away at the other end, you turn around, come back out. Now you might only have 8 feet left. You know what I'm saying? So the other side's going to get less than you have on that side of the road. So that's why you end up looking like you got more snow and more sand.
So you're saying that it's not really our problem?
Well,
If you want to,
We plow the excess snow, maybe, and that's what we picked up last year, I think.
yeah, where we clean up the intersection, we got to place that snow somewhere. It's not unreasonable if we're placing it on somebody's property to say, for them to say, hey, I don't mind you plowing the snow here, because I know you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind coming and cleaning it up. Yeah, all right, yeah, you know, that's not unreasonable. We'll do that just to keep the peace, you know. But as far as like going down a straight run, if we start doing it for everybody, we wouldn't get nothing done all summer long, but clean up everything we did all winter.
if you want to reduce your sand, you're going to have to go to the sand salt mix. And soon as you bring up aquifer, I suggest we look at the map downstairs, because what percent of our roads are no salt versus what percent of the town is over an aquifer. The aquifer goes up almost to Vista Heights. So even though it doesn't hit Vista Heights, that runoff ends up in the aquifer. Is Vista Heights a no-salt road?
No.
No.
So,
So the resolve is nothing.
Clean up the pile.
sand salt mix.
I think one of the
I
things
vote
that
no.
maybe we could
Well, I
do is...
understand you do. I find it interesting how we decide which parts of the town over the aquifer get treated one way and other parts get treated another way.
It wasn't so
We
much
should
it
be
was over the aquifer when they did it, which is, I think was before my time. It was because the wetlands are right there, and the lake is right there. It's like Noyes Road and Manville and all share that wetlands.
All right, what,
Are you sure?
let's not get into the aquifer and what's where and how. Well, let's talk about the Andrews Road.
Did I hear
Well,
you?
the aquifer has a major bearing on what we're doing. You want to solve it, you got to do a sand salt mix. Otherwise, you're going to have that salt, that sand.
Well, not so much storing as, when you do a cleanup of an intersection, you know, you got a pile of snow.
Okay, but there, we
But-
shouldn't have to store it on anybody's property because we own the west side of that intersection.
It's probably right there at the intersection.
So if you
it's-
stored the snow on the east side, southeast side,
I guess it would be
South-
west,
What are you doing now?
west side.
oh, west side, I'm sorry, west side.
West
I'm
side of
sorry.
the intersection.
Yeah, then there wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well, you're going to switch trucks? He's got a big truck. What he does is he comes down, rounds the corner just enough to clear that intersection.
I'm talking
and-
about cleaning up the intersection when he's going in all different directions.
But I think you get a pile right there at the.
Right, so he could push it into
Yeah.
Tilton's property and not onto this
Yeah, it's
gentleman's
not going
lawn.
around into
We
a
don't have
yard
to
or
put this,
nothing, no.
we don't have to put snow anywhere on somebody else's property.
What's the right-of-way of Andrews?
60 feet.
Right.
It's not a right-of-way, we own it. So,
Andrews I'm talking, not
oh, Andrews, I
Manville.
don't know, we'd have to look. All the sand that's there is just from plowing, not from anything
Winter maintenance.
unusual.
Nothing that I know of, no. I mean, it's just all
Didn't take
sand
a
on the
big
road.
pile of snow and push it on his property
No,
more than anybody else, as you plowed half the row on him, half the row the other way.
as much as we could possibly do,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
hammer.
normal
You've got some
maintenance.
solutions, I'd love to hear
Well,
them.
I
All
think,
right, John,
some of that, whenever possible, try and put, when you're clearing that intersection on the other side. But the other part, and one of the reasons for the no salt, was because there's so many pine trees on that area, and putting
It
salt...
was Wells. It was, That had nothing to do with aquifer, nothing
him
to do with
finish.
well. It was dug wells.
Let him finish.
Putting salt on roads with a high amount of pine trees causes pine rust and kills pine trees. And that's why you see, like, along the highways where they do winging and push it back a lot, you see the orange needles on the pine trees. So,
Yeah.
you know, that...
I don't know if that's salt or if it's car emissions also that can kill trees.
Pine, you know, just, I guess you can check into it, but salt causes pine rust and kills pine trees. Bob Hardy can talk to you about that, too. What's my chain of thought here? The other thing is early in the spring, a lot of that comes from the runoff in the spring wash, that the sand that's collected there, like now, when I went up there, I noticed there's some places in the middle of the road, as well as the side of the road, that are actually, you know, deep, maybe on the side of the road, about this deep. And when it gets dusty in cars, pickup trucks driving through there with 21-inch tires, kick up that gravel and throw it further 15 feet on. If in the spring, maybe a little earlier, we could send Rabbit up there to do a preliminary cleaning, like maybe next week, so that would be less of the stuff that's going to get washed or bounced or blown from dust onto his property.
But when it gets washed, it goes to the edge of the road shoulder. Most of that area, the shoulder is higher than the pavement, therefore it gets blocked at that point. It doesn't continue down into people's properties.
At that point, I noticed that his property actually pitches down until you get...
Once you get away from the road.
trees.
Yeah,
And,
it goes.
you know, if we could pick it up, you know, have a pass with or any other roads that are excessively sandy to... That just
What
ideas
does the
for
board
some
think about
solutions.
John's suggestion?
So you're saying sand,
It's not-
a little
it's-
bit earlier?
Well,
Sweep the
it's,
roads.
It's not a
if you're
solution.
gonna do it there, then you're gonna do it
Yeah.
in Lockmere, you're gonna do it all over town.
Yep.
I don't think it doesn't sound like he's getting any more sand on his lawn than the rest of us.
There's less sand this year than previous years, partly
So-
because we've had less events.
Yeah.
You know?
And I did talk to the guys about, you know, primarily Fred, about what's changed in the last few years. Because I don't have any other history over there. This is my first year here. And they're using a wing now where they never used to use a wing. That could change some things, because the snow might be further back than it used to be. Different process.
No, he just had to do 2 passes in the past. Now he can do it in 1.
Now we can do it in one. That might be where the 2 passes come from, where he was,
Yes, when he had this, just the front plow, he had to do 2 passes.
which makes sense. So, now he's doing it one, but he's doing it with a wing.
Does everyone agree that we should clean it up a little bit, or no?
No.
Not really.
I don't
Unless you-
know, I kind of...
Not unless you're gonna do it all over town.
Yep.
He's not the only one affected.
I kind of think that where we dump snow on his yard and there's an excess in that one location, that perhaps we might take care of that one location.
Should we-
And stop dumping snow in his yard.
I thought I
So-
understood that we didn't put any,
It's just right there at the V, I'm not
It's,
sure.
that's
Right there at the V.
that's a more town property than,
town at the V.
If it's in the town, I saw it, and I don't know where the
'Cause-
town's right-of-way ends.
Our right, it's not a right of way, we own it all the
Well, then
way
the
down
town's
to the high
property
water
line
mark of
ends.
Silver Lake Road.
you mean
That goes right down.
of
Crystal.
Crystal?
Crystal was given to us.
Oh, okay. It just looked like part of his yard, I didn't see the map, it was just where the property lines are.
On Crystal, the majority of it's on town land. I'm not sure how far behind the pole the town land goes. But you look on that, most of it's between the road and the pines, or the evergreens.
I just feel that there is a little bit more than just a normal, Wow.
Having lived there 20 years, this is a light year.
Relatively,
that's,
yeah.
if that's a light year,
But even so,
Shame on
there's a
us.
When
bunch
do
of
we
sand.
sweep the streets?
May,
May, usually.
early May, probably after you do the spring, around the time they do the amnesty week.
Because I'm gonna,
Call him in any earlier this year? Would that be foolish, or
Are you doing just him, or are you gonna cater to all the no-salt roads?
Yeah.
we,
You're gonna go down and do the
We
people that live on
normally
Noyes
do-
Road?
That road, right?
spot.
well, I was getting ready to
Be no on that.
Howard goes
together
on that
the
road.
On Manville?
Does he?
No?
No, they don't usually do Manville.
I was gonna get ready to put together the street sweeping bids, probably after this week anyway, once, town meeting and everything's out of the way. I already have,
Don't
Mike
start too
Rabbit's-
late because we got stuck with that last year.
Because Mike Rabbit already sent his automatic. So
But
just
I don't
got a
believe,
few more.
I don't believe that Andrew Road and Manville was a part of that street, our
No.
town.
No, I don't think.
Part of what? Yes, it is. The problem is,
The paved part of
We
Manville.
sweep
we swept.
Manville Road?
yeah,
The guys told me we
Yes.
sweep every road. in
yes.
town.
Manville, Crystal, Andrews, any paved section, except for Crystal, they don't pave it to the edge of the pavement because there's so much pine needles.
Lockmere Village,
Well, it's done, they've.
Well, is there sand in the road?
the salt in the road, yes.
No,
Sand,
sand.
yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you say they don't do Lockmere, they do Hill Road.
That's not Lockmere.
That's no.
That's Winnisquam.
Lockmere, where are you talking Lockmere? What road?
Church,
Okay.
River, Silver and
Yeah, they do.
Brook.
Yeah, they
We
do.
plow it,
They do
we spread
that.
the
They
sand.
do that.
The state don't.
They do that.
We do Lockmere Village.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Well, you better start doing
It
Brook
comes
Road.
every year, it comes right down my street.
That's state though, right?
That's the state
No,
doing
we
it.
do it, no.
Well,
we
you know,
do it.
this is redundant because you have the history, so why don't you get that out for us next week?
So it's been
Right,
swept.
take
Who cares who does it? It's swept.
State aid road, we wouldn't do that.
Right.
like
I think we do it.
It was swept. That I can attest
Okay.
to.
We do a lot of things we shouldn't do.
Okay. I'll check and I'll try to get the list for you guys for next week.
I'm
It's
sure
there.
Mr. Rabbit can tell you.
The list is there.
Yeah, the list is there. 'cause
Yeah.
we checked it, but
We went over the list last year with Dennis, and we added a few roads, remember?
You're talking to the person who didn't agree to it, so.
No, we added roads because you had an issue with it last year. I remember very clearly.
I didn't,
Lockmere
we
Village.
sand too much, yeah.
All right.
You're right, you sand too much, but you don't want to put salt,
Right.
so you have to sand too much.
We've gone 15 minutes over talking about Andrews Road. What's the resolve?
No,
What is the resolve? No is not a resolve.
we sent him a very nice letter telling him that, we don't do that for other residents in town.
Before we send the letter, can we research the right-of-way or the town ownership of Andrews?
Yeah, I can go down and get the road book.
And I'll have to hunt to see, because Dave Krause did go down Crystal a little bit when he did a survey, as I recall, right?
He went all the way to the high water mark on Civil
Okay,
Lake,
so we can see how far back from the edge of pavement it is.
60 feet.
Huh? Well, I know, so it's probably going to be from the railroad bed across, but what part of is it the bank on the far side of the railroad
It's a little
bed?
different. When you get to Crystal, it's a little different.
Right. But I think up until close to those spruce fir is town land on Crystal.
So we'll have a report next week what the width of our road is, and then we'll go from there. So we'll table this discussion until next week. Is that all right? And then we'll,
We'll want to look up
Let him know
Andrews
that-
and Crystal.
Andrews Road and
And
Crystal.
Crystal.
It's fine.
Is that all right?
Good, I'll have you
You okay with that?
raking over at my rental.
Whatever. All right, next.
Look what I brought for you.
I think that the
I have
voting went well. We got everything in and had a lot of help with setting it up. The guys showed up at 7:30 to help set up, but everybody was ambitious and helped us out more than I expected.
But we were there, we'd been told 7 o'clock.
Joe and I got bored.
So we were there anyway, and we
Oh,
found
yeah,
the
big-
stuff, and so we started laying it out.
Don't get me wrong, I appreciate it, thank you very much.
Now, how about the next morning, picking the stuff up in the front
It
hallway?
was good. The only thing the guys said was, they asked if you don't take the voting booths apart. Let them do
Didn't.
that. Somebody took them apart.
No, they took the front curtains off. I said, don't do anymore.
Oh, 'cause somebody else took them apart.
Oh, we didn't take them
No,
apart.
that was his school,
What time did you
trying to
get
get
there?
their stuff up.
Oh, 'cause they were there right at 7.
Oh, yeah, they should have been
But
there at
it's-
6:30.
Was the blue tarps?
We'd be there at 7:30?
6:30,
6:30,
Sorry.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so,
Were the blue tarps already taken up?
well, they said they were already taken down, and they could already see a wave in them.
The only thing that we took down
too
was
bad.
the red, white, and blue curtains on the
Okay,
front.
yeah, 'cause those are fine. But when you start, if somebody tries to take them down and not paying attention, they're easy to bend.
Yeah, no,
And-
the janitors must have,
That's why we didn't take them
So
down.
if the rule is 6:30, from now on, I'll make sure.
You can
I'll
coordinate
call 'em in
that
at
with the guy
6:30.
over at the school
and see,
to
this
make
is
sure.
new because they have to get those tarps up. The gym has to be ready for 7:30.
Okay.
So if you go in at 7 and pick the stuff up, including the voting booths, they can't pick up those blue tarps off the
Well,
floor.
I thought we had to be there at 7, so.
No, it's new. That's the time we used to use when we were over at the middle school gym. But, no, they needed to be there at 6:30.
Okay, then we'll make that right for the presidential race.
September and November.
All right,
Um,
anything
And
else?
then Friday, we'll be over to set everything up for a town meeting.
Friday evening,
For 2:30, we're supposed to be there.
2:30 tomorrow?
Yep,
Don't
Okay.
forget the wooden voting booth box.
the box. We'll have the box, and we'll bring the moderator's chair and anything else that we need.
What do? We set up 6 booths for voting?
I don't
We
think
don't
we
set them all up.
No, I don't even think we set up 6.
Oh, yeah, we
did
set up 6.
We do?
Do we?
You have to ask Cindy. We set up a number of booths.
I was never there for the setup in the cafeteria.
We set up some
There's
booths.
not that much
I know we
to
set up some, it might be 6.
Ask Cindy.
I'll call,
Ask Cindy or Chuck.
Yep.
I'll call and find out tomorrow.
We're responsible
Yeah.
for setup.
All right, good.
No,
2:30, all right.
2:30.
I'll be a little late, but I'll probably be able to, can't help much, but
Anything else, or?
I don't, any other questions for Johnny?
Yeah, one thing is, if there is anything that we could do to help out Northfield when,
I went
I know
over,
that-
they haven't asked
they
me
do
for
it.
anything. I went over and talked to them and extended, if we need anything that we can do, let us know. And they said that they're fine, they have their other buildings, and they haven't asked for anything. The town administrator, Glenn, called and thanked me. I talked to Bob Southworth, one of their selectmen, and I talked to Andy, and they haven't asked for anything, so I've extended.
We can loan them a Crown Vic. That's about it, I
put a
think.
plow on it.
Well, they only lost one plow truck
I only
apparently.
lost one plow truck.
Let us know if they need anything.
Was that just plastic damage on the loader backhoe?
Yeah,
Melting.
I'm not sure the extent. Worst case scenario, I think, they lost some of the hydraulic lines. They may have to replace the cab. I'm just guessing on that. What really saved it, from my guesstimation, is the wing was still on it and chained up in the air.
So it was
The wing took a lot of heat.
acted as a shield?
Well, the guy next door apparently woke up to do whatever a guy does in the middle of the night, and happened to notice it was on fire, so they got caught really early, which is a
Yeah.
good thing, heck of a good thing.
Well, the building still may be totaled.
Yeah, those metal beams under intense heat lose their tensile strength, and you get 3 feet of snow on the roof, and it caves in, and yeah.
Plus, the building's quite old, I guess, from what I'm understanding, is back in the 70s it was put up.
That's quite
One
old.
of the first metal
That's old.
buildings around here.
How old's your house, Jim?
1851.
So, yeah,
Right.
no, they haven't reached out to us for anything yet. And March Road was passed at town meeting last night
Oh, yay.
in Sanborn, so
How many wipers cost? 75 bucks.
I got home last night about
Mine cost
1:30,
35 bucks.
so.
What do you got, Bosch?
Vail.
Well, that's right, you have your town meeting in the evening.
Did you get the,
Nobody ones
Continued it to
pisses me off.
night, or?
Well, by the time the moderator asked, we had 4 more articles, so we're like, well, let's just finish them up rather than come back. So, we finished it. Unlike Bridgewater, who got done in 10 minutes.
It's gonna be us, I hope.
Shane Weaver?
Yeah. All right, anything else for Johnny / Tom? All right, thank you. Joyce, you want to come up in lieu of the chief, because he's not here yet? Move right along. Moving.
Hi.
I watched that before.
Did I just date myself?
Yep.
It's one of Clint Eastwood's first roles. Was he Rowdy? Wasn't he Rowdy?
Yates. Just saying.
I don't know where you want to start. Do you want to start with warrant articles, town meeting, Tim's report?
The TAN is signed, I believe. John, you got to be signed. Is that all signed?
Promissory note?
Promissory note?
Yeah, it's in the folder.
You have to witness the signatures, okay?
Do I have to sign again so she can witness?
All right, that's good. So
Okay.
Tim's, we're on Tim's?
Yep.
Okay. Casella.
Yeah, Tim and I had met with them. I had called Glenn to find out how he arrived at his numbers in his town report, brought it to Tim's attention, so we put him on speakerphone, and he explained how they arrived at their number, which is much less than ours. Tim then called Casella and said, wait a minute, these numbers don't match. So Dave Allen and Richard Moriarty came over and met with Tim and I thought Tim was going to share that. I didn't, but anyway, they explained their calculation.
So are our numbers good?
When you compare them to what Northfield's would be, I think that we're being charged more. However,
Well, they're making an assumption on the amount that they may collect because it's voluntary, where they expected ours to be what, around 30-some-odd%, and we ended up being almost 50%?
50%, yeah.
So it's speculative.
Our recycling is only 37%.
Now,
There is a ghost tonnage.
That's
Our
now.
MSW went down by 50%, but recycling is not 50%.
well, anyway, he said he'd be more than happy to calculate our collection numbers using the same formula that they use for other communities, where it fluctuates every month. Where you don't, like right now, we have no exposure or liability to what the commodity markets are doing. So in a sense, you can say we're paying a little bit more so that we're not, we know we budget a certain amount of money and we're never going to pay any more than that amount of money.
So where did the 31.5 come from for Northfield? How do they come up with that figure?
I have no idea, and I would not go by whatever's in the newspaper.
And actually, I think it was cheaper in the Northfield warrant in front of Madam Chair.
It is, but there's a lot more that goes in underneath that you don't see how they arrived at that number.
Yeah, and one of them was the tonnage. They pay more for tonnage, right? Wasn't that?
they
what
must
the-
have subtracted from something that they're already doing now.
That is
Right.
correct.
to-
And that was the end that was the,
It's a net number. The
Net-
number
net
that they're
number.
budgeting is a net number, and there's other expenses in there that we don't see, that they've subtracted out. So the way, and I
So
wish I
can we
had
ask them for it? Is that
Tim
something?
has it.
No, we have the one from Casella, but the...
I'm talking Northfield to see how to get a pricing like that.
Well, that comes from Casella, and Tim has those
No,
figures.
Northfield has made an assumption that they're going to decrease their tonnage.
Their solid waste, their
So they're
MSW,
taking the money saved there into consideration.
and they're reducing expenses at their holding area.
Right, so they're taking all of those and saying,
half a
okay,
year that
we've
they're
got this
budgeting.
much money, but we need this much more money to pay for recycling. That's what they're doing.
Right, and also...
And that's all speculative.
Right, and that number
That's best
can
guess.
change each month, what they pay
Subjective,
for
we'll say.
disposal of recyclables,
And they're doing it for half a year.
and they're doing for half a year, will change
Right.
each
But if
month.
I double 31, I'm at 62, we're at what, 87, 88?
No.
95, I thought.
Okay.
I didn't
But
bring,
here's
I was
the
trying to be
thing.
conservative.
Here's the
Well, I
thing
can tell
that
you, it was
I don't
right in there.
understand. The mileage,
is more, yep.
they're going to be driving all over the
The
town of
population's
Northfield.
more. They're what, 33% more than us?
So,
33,
No, I'm talking also 33% more people to cover.
They have more stops.
yeah,
They
a
only
lot
have
more stuff.
1,400
Further
stops, and they
A
have
lot
more than
much,
that.
Yeah.
they're putting on a ton of mileage.
And they have to drive by
Take 'em longer.
every one, even if they don't stop. Right.
So there's some things that just don't jive.
Can you ask Glenn for those figures tomorrow?
First-time contract.
Sure.
I mean,
Get
would
'em
it be
in, suck 'em
impossible
in.
to get those? I mean,
no, I know, he told us over the phone, we talked
Okay.
about it, and then we compared that to the numbers that Casella had given us, based on, what he tried to do was to equalize us to what Northfield's costs would be,
okay.
not what Northfield's costs are right now, what they really would be.
Okay. All right.
Maybe we also need their solid waste to get the total picture, so we can look at solid waste recycling.
Well, what did Tim say here? Let me read this. Say it.
Part of it be the effect of having to transport the trash from Northfield to the transfer station as opposed to we go to the incinerator.
Well, it's cheaper for them under where the current commodity, they call it the ACR, commodities market, whatever. It's less to pay for disposing of it through recycling than it is through MSW at the incinerator.
Well, does Northfield have the same restriction on MSW
Yes.
as to go down to the
They have a flow
incinerator?
limit. Yes.
Same thing, all
They do.
their refuse, commercial and,
Everybody in the co-op has that
So
same
Casella
thing.
doesn't have the freedom to bring it up to 140
No.
if they wanted to, okay.
their recycling, they can, but not their MSW.
Wherever they take the recycling is up to them.
And that's still less than, I can't quote you what that amount is without having their information right in front of me. So anyway, yeah, we reviewed Northfield's proposal, we met with Casella, and then they are going to be putting together a similar proposal for the board to look at to see if you want to go that route. He's saying the truck costs are higher in Tilton because they spend more truck and personnel time due to the volume of recycling we have.
Doesn't make sense, they just pick up a can and they dump it in the truck. But they're gonna
I guess what
drive
they're
all
saying
over
is we're doing like 2,000 stops in Tilton and 1,000 in Northfield, I guess. Which is an interesting
Those figures
assumption, because you...
correct. Their
Wait, and
estimate.
you have no idea to really tell until you do it.
Right.
I don't think there's any real science.
Well, didn't we,
And-
isn't that the reason why we had Dennis follow behind him when we first started to find out exactly how many stops we were making? Do you remember when we first started?
I know he did that because they had to hand out all the bids.
And so we got a more accurate figure on how many.
And Dennis should have that. It was a very well-worn spreadsheet,
Yeah, and
a well-used
Yeah.
spreadsheet. He should still have that. With the numbers of what bins were dropped off where.
Sorry.
The other thing that Casella had said, because they'd worked in Tilton for so long, they had much more confidence in their quotation because they know pretty much what the tonnage is going to be, and so he feels they did the best they could.
Well, if that's the case, then I would be pricing Northfield higher because of the unknown, not lower. talk to any business person. You're not going to err on,
Well, they think their participation is going to be lower than ours.
but I'm going to err on the side that they're going to do the same and then adjust in later years. I'm not going to go on low and then find out they match us, and now I'm having to eat a loss because I quoted.
They also got a 5-year contract. Or is
Oh,
it
so
3?
can we see years 2 through 5? That'll be interesting.
Well, we can get you a copy of their contract.
I think that would be interesting.
Well, especially a 5-year contract, not even knowing what you're going to get.
Okay.
Wow.
Did anyone look at Tim's email?
Huh?
Tim's email.
What
Garbage
time?
trucks, Buying our own.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, he's doing more, and there's nothing.
thought that was interesting.
I brought that up
I thought that was really
about a
interesting,
year ago, or when
130,000.
we first started talking about it, and you can get them for, I talked to the Public Works guys in Pembroke, and they have a really great deal and incentives to buy the trucks.
130,000 brand new
Less than
Kenworth
that.
Cummins engine.
That's a stripped-down version, but,
Nope.
I mean, they're available.
It wasn't a stripped-down version. I looked at it this morning on the website. He talked to the guy. He even added more tonnage because of the amount of trash we'd haul with it.
Did you look at all the other trucks?
Oh, yeah, I just did look at it. I just looked at a Mack for,
I did a lot of research on this, and that is, comparatively speaking, a stripped-down version. It's a brand-new truck, totally gonna run good, got a warranty and everything else. Requires 2 guys to operate it.
Yep.
So that's a cost to this program as well. Granted, they pick up only 8 days a month, but getting good, solid employees that are strong, well put together, because they gotta
You are aware that
lift garbage.
Tilton used to pick up the trash. We had our garbage
I
truck.
am, and I now know that we no longer do that. I assume there was some kind of a reason. I wasn't around when that happened, so
I
I
think
can't
it-
tell you the reason.
I think it dealt with the Public Works Director.
That's exactly right. But anyway, so if you toss around some figures with employees and whatnot, if you bought a new truck for around $200,000, and that's what they fluctuate on either side, it would take, less than 5 years for it to pay for itself.
Which is a good thing, because they don't last a long time.
Huh?
You an
The
email.
brakes,
Tim sent you an email.
the brakes...
On the garbage truck? I saw that earlier, but,
Brakes have to be replaced really...
yeah, but when you talk those trucks, you should be able to get 300, 400, 500,000 miles if you
I think
maintain
our
them.
garbage truck was like 15 or 20 years. It was old.
That
Talk
was the
to,
old type, too.
It
All right,
was.
so getting back to the subject at hand on Tim's report, what did you want to,
Well, that we'll need some warrant articles. If warrant article, the petition warrant article passes, you have to be ready to make some motions
To do what?
change
to
lines.
change the line items.
Oh, we know
Warrant
this.
Article 3, so do you want to have that typed up and ready to go?
yes?
Oh, yeah.
To get,
Tim said he'd
Absolutely.
have them with the line item numbers and everything, so...
oh, okay, so he already has that then?
Well,
Because it
he
says
said
in
he
here.
was
Said he
going
would
to
have it
have it.
for
Okay.
us.
Talk to him
all right.
today. We'll also have to raise the MSW line.
That he doesn't have in here, raising the MSW.
Yeah, 15,000. Where did I read that?
This is
Well,
to get out of the bag program
Right.
we have a ghost quantity of trash right now.
for the
It
bags.
doesn't, it's not accounted for in the MSW, it's not accounted for in the recycling numbers.
collection.
It's in
That means
surrounding
it went
towns.
away, and it's tons. So some of it is composting, some of it is people are buying things differently, and some of it is going across the river and to Franklin and to Samerton. I know some of it is because I know people who are doing it.
Okay, so I don't see that number in here. So
Okay,
has he
well, we
given you-
talked
has he
about
given you
that this
number?
afternoon late.
Well, Tim will be in the morning. I suggest that you have a conversation with him so that we are definite that these bases are covered.
So on Tim's report, page 2,
Yep.
single stream saves us $1 a ton for, what, half the year before we hit our tonnage limit? We pay $64.50 for single stream, $65.31 for MSW,
Yep.
but we have to pay $85,000 to run that truck.
Recycling at the curb is not only a matter of trying to save a buck, at least not in my opinion. It's also a matter of trying to save the environment, not just for this week or next week, but for my grandchildren and their grandchildren. We know better. We don't dump it behind our house. We don't pile it up at the edge of the wetlands anymore.
I'm looking for the taxpayer who's being forced out of their home because town tax, county tax, fire district tax, school tax goes up every year. They get next to nothing on Social Security increase. They can't put
Nothing
up
the last 2 years. And I agree with you on that. And we'll have a healthy spirited debate at town meeting, no doubt. And the last 2 times it's come up, we had a healthy spirited debate and they voted to keep recycling.
Okay, let's
So
move
it-
on.
I guess my question, I want to have clarified in my mind, I know that we have these costs,
Yes.
okay? The ghost tonnage coming into MSW, the cost to unwind the bags,
Yep.
and we have to increase the collection and recycling.
That's
Okay,
correct.
And we don't know exactly what the amount is going to be in the revolving fund, but either way, it doesn't really matter because it's going to, any surplus in there is going to go into the general fund.
That's correct.
Okay.
If there's any
You can have a
surplus, I doubt there's
conversation
going to
with-
be
You're
surplus.
going to have a conversation with Tim in the morning.
Yes, and I just want to
work
make sure that
something
the
out.
board is,
Can-
that the board is all aware of this
Can you-
evening, because we're getting down to the
Thank you.
wire.
Can you ask Tim something?
Yes.
I want total cost of MSW disposal, total cost of recycling disposal. Don't put the Barney bags in the recycling, put that as a separate, so I can actually look at it and make an educated,
It is, that's all in the revolving fund. None of that recycling expense is in the operating budget. It's all in the revolving fund.
The bags pay for
And
it.
the
well,
revolving
yeah,
fund
that, we're always
amounts-
told the bags pay for it, but the
They do.
bags should go for solid waste, because the
Well-
bags are getting rid of solid waste.
Oh, yes,
It
we have
pays for the
reduction.
pickup of
We have-
recycling.
Yeah.
That's
So,
what it was
yes, but we were
designed
told
for.
recycling was free.
No,
Okay, we're getting back
no.
off topic. There's
Nobody
some
ever said
information
recycling was
that
free.
Peter wants
Yes,
to glean.
the
total cost of disposal.
town meeting-
Let's not get back onto a debate of whether we should recycle or not.
Okay, you want a total cost of disposal of MSW of recycling,
And then what the income was for the purple bags, not buried in either of the other 2 lines.
okay, and it is not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a separate page in all the revolving fund.
Is there anything else you want, Peter?
Well, at some point, I'd like to continue investigating vehicles and opening the conversation with surrounding towns to see if you could go in with 1 or 2 other towns, share the cost. And also check with towns that have them if they're interested in adding us to their truck, like Franklin, because they don't run their recycling every day.
When does our contract expire, May?
For Casella is May 31st.
Gotta hurry up.
Waste
Right.
Zeros is, I think he gave you a copy of the agreement, didn't he? Waste Zero agreement, 90-day.
Make sure that this is on the agenda for next week.
Yes. We'll try and get you everything, that you have it ready at your fingertips at town meeting.
That would be good too,
asking
but we
these
still need to
questions.
make decisions too going forward if we want to.
We need to move on the truck stuff and
Oh, yes.
Peter said Franklin and whatnot. We've kind of dragged our feet on Franklin.
The amendment to the capital reserve fund, you have a choice, and I emailed it to all of you. You can move to, Article 8, you're changing the name, you're clarifying the name of the fund. Article 9, you're raising and appropriating the money into the capital reserve fund.
Right.
In my opinion, it would be more appropriate to make that reduction in the operating budget when you get down to warrant Article 11. so that Chuck can say, when you're doing warrant Article 9, he can say, and if warrant Article 9 passes, we have this amendment, it's all ready to
We had intended to
upon.
say that, but you can't reduce the budget until it's brought up to the floor for discussion.
That's what I'm saying, so it should be an amendment to Article 11.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
No, we don't need to make an amendment to Article 11. We just need to tell them that we will, if this passes, reduce the budget line item.
But that's, the budget line item is
Is Article
Article 11.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
It is.
No, it isn't. It's not. It is.
That's
Is this
when you
this
start
year's?
amending the budget.
We don't amend the budget during the warrant articles. We amend the budget
the
when we
last-
get to that warrant article.
Yeah, that's
It's the
the
last
Number
article.
11.
It's the last article.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, I don't have them in front of me, so I don't know the numbers.
All 11 is the,
I thought you were talking about amending the warrant article for the reserve fund.
To see if the town will vote
No, 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 no.
appropriate the budget sum
Well,
recommended
yes,
by
we were going to
Maine.
do that anyway.
Right, so we
So
have,
yes, and I wrote that, and I emailed it to all of you.
Yes, that was our.
so
that's
motion to
been our-
amend the Budget Committee's recommendation budget amount by reducing the item 01824312997760 sidewalk construction from 36,000 to zero. And that's what we'll do. So
That's what we intended to do.
we have that printed out.
Yep, that's your email.
And then
I
we-
emailed it to you, and I printed it out.
You're going to print it out for us.
Yep.
And then we'll make a motion.
Yep.
I'll make the motion. I'll raise my hand, make the motion. And then Tim can calculate that and then give it to Wayne Brock, who's the chair, and then they can figure out the rest of it.
But when we get to the article to have that discussion about the reserve fund, we're going to tell them at that time.
Yes.
our
Yes.
intent.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Then nothing's
That's what I
changed.
said.
Right.
Isn't that what I said?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry. I didn't have it in
we've
front of
gone
me, so
through
I
this
didn't have the
Was,
numbers.
Joyce.
You're right, and we didn't, nothing's changed. We agreed with you a couple of weeks ago when we said that's what we wanted you to
Right, and you
do.
said to prepare
Right.
amendments, and that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Perfect
Okay.
job. It's just my confusion, Joyce. I didn't have them in front of me.
All right, and then Tim's preparing the solid waste ones, which I
Right.
knew he was doing that. But we
That's
just
good.
haven't done that totally. The other one, I'm trying to think if there's anything else for the... Okay, and then, still with the tattoo ordinance, but again, we're not really changing anything, we're just adding that our existing tattoo ordinance
Right.
also applies to body piercing.
Yes, the state law, well, not state law, the administrative rules in the Department of Health and Human Services requires the health office to inspect a piercing ordinance, but yet our tattoo ordinance, we have no ordinance, none, that regulates piercing.
Right.
So
So
this,
our ordinance
so
just
our ordinance can be adopted to.
include that.
You're really looking at pretty much the same thing, sterilizer, one-time needles, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But it also, it's interesting, it requires a statement from the building inspector. It requires a statement from the code enforcement officer and the fire chief. I don't think in Tilton we've ever,
Well, that was going to be my question, do we do that?
I don't think we do that. But it's not part of, it doesn't need to be part of the health ordinance that I have. But I'm going to talk to Al, and I'll talk to Tim Jabber about it.
Okay, the other thing is on Caleb Hill Road, we had talked about just giving the voters a little update on our status, and I had sent it to the board
And I agree with Catherine's comment on it.
to not include dates.
Well, to not say will.
Right, it
That's-
was very declaratory.
Approximately around,
Okay.
Right. What we want to do is just give a friendly update and not to be so cut and dry, and then it'll be so that we're held to that, because the state can never be held to any dates.
Can we keep with the general intent of making them aware that these projects aren't all done in 1 year, that they're
Right.
spread out over a
Yep.
period of years,
Yep.
and then don't even have to give the years?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Don't make promises the state might force us not to keep.
Okay,
I think that's what we really want to stay on board with, which we don't want to make promises that the state is not going to allow us to keep.
well, look how long it took just to get the signed agreement.
Right.
From the time the Governor and Council approved it, we got our agreement. It was almost 6 months.
Was it that long?
We helped Chuck today, we got the moderator's rules all photocopied, he has those, we have the ballots, Cindy has her, I'm sorry, these are the voter cards, Cindy has her ballots, we've communicated with the school, the gym's gonna be all set tomorrow at 2:30, we're gonna go over and set up again, and we know how many.
Are we going to make any more town reports tomorrow?
Help me out on this one, Gail.
We made copies of town meeting warrant and budget only copies. So we have 150 of those.
Just for the town warrant,
Town meeting.
But we
just for the
don't-
town meeting, what about the budget?
Yeah, the warrant, the budget.
The warrant, the budget, and there was the one last page that you wanted included in that.
Well, we're all out of housing standard ordinances.
So we were going to wait till tomorrow to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna wait.
How many
those.
annual reports did we have left? I know I counted them.
40, and since then we've given out maybe 5.
So
Joe grabbed a handful today, too. so-
Yeah.
And put them on the front.
we're going to show up at town meeting with approximately 30 annual reports. Are we assuming everybody got them at the vote? I don't think so.
And are they gonna bring them back?
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna need more than that, for sure.
So we have tomorrow to make them.
Okay, I'll be here bright and early to start.
Okay.
I
How
can
many
come.
would you like?
I'll come.
50?
Town
One-handed,
town
but I'll
reports, how many think?
We
I'd
don't
say
wanna
at
end
least
up with a lot left over, but we don't wanna come up short.
I'd say another 50 anyway.
I mean, on average, we get 100 people that show up to town meeting.
A lot of
I
those
think there'll be
people will
few
have a
more,
town
But
report.
they won't bail from town.
It's going to be 100 people just in landlords.
Yeah, but they don't live in town.
Right, but we have.
But they
you know,
want to
we-
look at the
I think
report.
what Tim was thinking,
They
we
wanna
have a
look at
righteous
the housing
tax.
standard.
Right.
That's, yeah.
You know,
If somebody comes to town meeting and asks for a copy of the annual report and we don't have one,
oh, I agree 100% with you.
so regardless of what someone thinks, I think we need to be prepared.
Right. I agree.
I appreciate the
Better
input, but I
to
think we
have
need
too
to.
many than not.
I'd rather walk in there
agree.
with 100
Uh-huh.
and
No
have
problem.
maybe,
Can we put together 100 tomorrow?
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Yes.
I guess, I don't know, he was thinking that we wouldn't need to do the extra copies. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna have to have at least 100 available, at least.
I mean, people through the
I'll
next
come.
few months will take them.
And what
Oh, I know, we
exactly are
go,
you
I
going
mean,
to
I
do?
always try and keep a copy out on the.
One-handed, but
The counter.
Oh, you can ka-chunk.
I'll do ka-chunks.
You could ka-chunk. Maybe with you, I don't know.
Well, we'll figure out something.
So,
How long does it take, Gail, how long does it take to print off everything?
Couple hours anyway.
Okay, so.
So, 10:30?
10 o'clock, 10,
Not do them in batches of 50 like we did last time.
Yeah, it burns it out.
Or when you get to the 35th or 40th copy, it gets very dark. So the less.
Overheats.
Kind of like 25 at a time. So if you want 100, we have to do it in 4 batches. So that's going to take a couple hours.
so by 10 o'clock, we'd have a batch to start on,
yeah.
Yeah.
10:30.
Are we gonna do the hard covers or the soft covers?
Hard
Hard covers.
Okay.
We've got plenty of stock.
It won't take that long.
No, it shouldn't take that.
I'll be here by 10:30. Okay, we'll knock them out.
I have an
I'll
inspection
come.
at 3, so I could be here at 10:30. Oh, yeah, I'll
What are
have
you
to
doing?
leave at 1.
Peter, what time are you gonna get there?
Yeah,
Peter and I will do second shift.
that's right.
Bring the beer and
Yeah, supply us the beverages, we'll do second shift.
By second shift, there won't be any, though. Just beverages.
That's fine by us.
So the only
We
other.
appreciate you contribute to society with
other
your
item I had was
JOBs.
Trinity Church.
The what?
Trinity Church, I had notified the board that I had some communication, so.
So in the evening? Tonight? Non-pub?
Okay.
Okay. All right, land use office renovations.
Oh, you want to do that?
I have it on the list, and we
Oh,
said,
We didn't get it.
I said, could you have it done next week?
I'm
She
sorry.
could, she just didn't do it.
And
I know. It was
I wanted some estimates so we could figure out for town meeting. All right, we won't now. Next week?
Maybe.
Tell me again what you want. You want a door and a window. You want a door with a window.
Right.
And do you want windows on the,
That office agree, though.
pardon me?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest, as Gail said, we talk to the occupants of that office, get their suggestions, and then we talked about windows, indoors, combination thereof. So get estimates for both, what do you think?
Yep, I think I agree.
Right, when you
We're
say
gonna look at like a Dutch door?
You want to talk with the,
occupants?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one's not in tomorrow, so we'll have to wait till Monday.
so we'll schedule it 2 weeks from tonight. How's that? To talk about it.
Plenty of time to put it together.
2 weeks from tonight.
We could get Al to do the door,
We'll
right?
get it done. Okay. All right, that it? That it for you?
Yeah. Unless you had anything else for me?
No. I don't have anything. So we're all prepared for town meeting. You've got, I saw your little packages of everything down there for Gail. You weren't here, but we,
Take all your nameplates tonight.
you weren't here, but we all clapped for Gail because it was her year anniversary yesterday. We thanked her for her service, and
I missed out on the clap.
I did.
I want to do it again.
2 times right.
And good job to us for picking out,
yeah,
for finding it.
Might be my finest decision, John.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
your
think that
best
was.
decision you made in your,
yeah, absolutely.
My tenure, that's right.
If at all possible, I would like my folder with me at town meeting.
Yes.
This folder, because it has information in here with the housing and as far as monies and things like that for,
Last year, we didn't have them, and it was very disconcerting.
And you're
Yeah.
all gonna bring your Chromebooks, correct?
I
Yep.
am.
So we'll need
I am going to bring my
proper
Chromebook.
power.
Can you print out
They have power. They did last year.
with the names?
Do we have some
who's
power
gonna
strips?
Move what?
If we need them?
They had them. I don't know where they came from. I know Public Works has some,
Oh, okay.
and I'm pretty
I
sure
gave mine to
that
Chuck.
Captain Kirk has some as well.
Oh, hold on one second. Joyce, can we make sure that we have power strips for our Chromes?
you got some, didn't you, Gail? You ordered some? Power strips, yeah.
Okay, and Gail, what was your suggestion about the,
Do the selectmen want their budget binders with them, budget books?
I think I'll take mine right now,
I would like mine
or not.
over there. Yes, I would like mine because only if the Pines comes up, we have that information. I think that's the only discrepancy that we have in the budget.
And I'm gonna grab mine on the way out the door, so.
I don't
I'll
need
have-
mine.
I'll bring what I need.
And I'll bring that unit in tomorrow. I forgot to tell Jane to bring it,
I'm fine, Gail, thank you.
that foldable dolly that we have. Okay, so we're all set. We have
Calculators.
calculators, we have
What's your
hard...
phone, John?
You're gonna take the calculators, right? Okay.
Oh, good, we can play
Candy dishes?
No, you're not gonna take the candy dishes, you're just gonna use bowls.
Okay.
Black licorice?
I got water, bottles of water.
Oh, good.
Oh, I'm too fussy.
Black liquor?
Is there any chance of getting anything healthy for this, or should I bring my own?
You bring your own.
I'll bring my own.
Cuties.
I'm off candy.
Well, we share the mints. Well, I got 2
Good
big
for you.
bags of mints.
Yeah, it's been
Mandarins.
tough, but 10 days. Not a piece, not a cake, cookie, pie, nothing.
You seem much more relaxed.
I am relaxed. My blood sugar is way down, and so I'm swearing off candy.
Not for life, I hope.
I don't do it, just for today.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm smart enough to know that you don't make these long-range plans when it comes to candy.
Yeah. All right, so everything else, we're all set with town meeting. We have moderator's chair. Everybody needs to know what we're doing.
The moderator rules are on the website.
Kirk is all set for that day.
Well, he's not going to be there. He said he had somebody else.
Okay.
To supply the SD card, though.
That's in our bin already.
It is, okay.
Got that?
All right. Other than that, we should be all set. All right, anything else for Joyce? That's it? All right. That's it. Next is the chief. Moving right along.
I'm just going to leave this up here. So we don't forget.
Hi, Chief. Long time no see, buddy.
Are you new?
You're good.
Good night.
Night, John.
Going home to go to bed.
Well, there's a lot in here. I'll just try to highlight some stuff. It was a busy week for calls, and we also had a pretty good significant accident yesterday by AutoServe, and it was a vehicle versus pedestrian right between AutoServe and Northway Bank, where a Jeep struck a pedestrian crossing the street. So
Yeah, he did.
he was injured pretty bad, but I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be okay. He's going to be immobilized for a while. He's got a broken neck and pretty serious lacerations.
Isn't
but-
there is there a crosswalk?
No,
No.
So you have to go on your own?
he ran across to
Yeah, he was
help
trying to
somebody.
help someone.
Okay.
No, I know that. I'm trying to remember if there was a button to...
He didn't
No,
look.
Yeah, no.
he didn't look.
Okay.
So that, you might have noticed the traffic backup yesterday, and the officers that were right there on scene did a great job. I got a lot of great feedback from the employees of AutoServe, witnesses, and from the guy himself that was struck,
You know who it
so
is.
I heard Corporal Henry acted
Yeah.
it in an exemplary manner.
he did an outstanding job, and, he was right there to lock the head down, stop the bleeding, which, was life-threatening at the time, so just an amazing job. And then he spoke with the wife later and calmed her down, and I got a lot of compliments from the wife on how he did that. So just all kinds of good accolades towards him.
The driver stopped.
Yeah, and he was just shook.
He
about
was,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
be
mess.
pretty devastating.
Yeah, so that really kept us busy for several hours. I went down to I had to go to something at the State House this morning, so I went by and saw him at the hospital and spent some time with him there, just to make sure he was okay and find out what he saw and what led up to it. Details are starting to pick up. The guys are busy. Detectives are busy. They're working on some drug cases. We've been getting some theft of parts from some of the AutoServe satellite lots, like the one behind Pizza Hut there, that one. So the suspects may be coming in through MB Tractor. It's usually on midnight shift. And then that lot across the street from Chili's there.
Oh, yeah, the
So
bacon
it's-
one.
Yeah, so not their main property, but some of the other ones, and it's all midnight stuff. So we're working with them on some ideas we have to put something together for that, but...
Night watchman.
Yeah. So that's kept them busy, too. And I put this in last week. The Chiefs Association Department with the AG's office, Khalees Ducey and I are working on April 20th. It's going to be a large symposium sponsored by the AG's office on becoming aware and resources, not only for law enforcement, but for the public, relative to increase in crime trends like the IRS scam that's been really big this year. You know, they have some pretty good guest speakers for that. It's geared to help law enforcement resources, but it is open to the public, and, you know, anyone's welcome to attend. So that's April 20th at the Grapponi Center. Let me know if anyone wants to attend that. We just finally, from the company that we got the LiDAR from, we just got the certificates for training. So Dave's been waiting for those to come in. He finally got those, so now he can begin to do the training. And pretty quiet week. We had a flat and oil changes up to date. Building, nothing going on this week, really. I know Tim had Cybertron in yesterday, just going through the system, making some upgrades on software. And update on the PIMA Youth Center. Jessica, the director, is working on kind of a business plan or operational budget for the satellite location that we can present to Granite State United Way. We're doing a fundraiser at the Flying Monkey on the 30th. That's going to be a comedy show, and I'm putting that together, and I think that'll be some of the money that helps us. I also met with someone from Department of Ed, and they feel that the satellite location is within the realm of a startup grant for us. And so she said that she thinks somewhere between 50 and 100,000 could be possible towards the
Nice.
startup. So now I'm going to connect her up with Jessica, because Jessica would do the grant. So this would really give us a leg up
Would
to
it be
get us
towards
out.
operating, or would it be towards building?
Could be for either, she said.
Wow,
Yeah, so,
good.
yeah, so that was just a chance encounter at the legislative office building. We're passing each other.
Yep.
She was talking to me about a school resource officer bill, and then she's like, so, you know, what are you guys doing up in Tilton? I told her. She goes, really, you should apply, because that's right within the realm of what we have grant money for. So it was just perfect timing.
You need a solid plan before you apply for it?
Well, we didn't get into like a detailed meeting on it, but I'm gonna bring her up here for a
Yeah.
dedicated meeting just
Good.
about that, so I'll let you guys know
Yeah.
if you wanna be there. And then I had a meeting too over the last week with the principal and some staff at the middle school, and, you know, one of my 16 goals is to try and create something that goes beyond DARE at the Southwick School, and
Yeah.
have something for grades 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
And that's what, you know, I pick these goals every year, and that's one of my 16 goals, is to get that implemented. So we had a really good meeting, and they're 100% behind it. The principal's like, whatever time we need to make in the schedule to make this work, we will. You have our full support. So we tasked Bill to contact the people that run the DARE training, because now there is a DARE 2 and a DARE 3. And I want to look at the curriculum, see is it going to be right, and then look at hosting the school first, and see if we can't host it right here. So he's working on that. We have a couple weeks to kind of like punch out some action items and get back together again. So the school's also going to look at some stuff too. And I think everyone agreed that it would be good. And then plus we've been going over there just talking to the classes, like career day kind of stuff, you know, what about police work, that sort of thing. So, and that's well received. Attended the YAP meeting, and they're doing a thing this Friday from 2 to 4, Fraps for YAP, and it's basically Don put together an open house. And they have college interns from Plymouth State that are going to be making fraps that I guess used to work in a Dairy Queen. So for you, if you want a free
And
frap.
that's at the
Yeah,
youth
from
assistance?
2 to 4.
Tomorrow, you said?
All from 2 to 4. So if you like a chocolate vanilla frap.
Well,
She said they're
after
only
we
doing the,
Make town reports, Catherine, we should go down.
yeah.
How sweet's for you?
I got an inspection.
You're doing well.
I don't
Oh,
have
okay.
to eat the sweets.
Okay,
But
just looking out for you.
I appreciate that, Peter, thank you very much.
it was a good meeting, and, you know, Dawn really supports the satellite of the PEMI too. She thinks it's a great idea and needed, and she's willing to do whatever she can do to help there. Everything's still on track for the floor for the senior center. I saw an email went out to the Rotary today to remind people to not make any plans between March 31 and April 3rd. And I was really surprised, but we were able to, in total, Nick told me we raised a total of $2,800 towards all the employees of Dunkin' Donuts. So we talked about it, and we thought the best use would be Hannaford's or Market Basket gift cards, and we left that up to Nick, and he decided to go with Hannaford's, I guess, so.
I noticed that they started
Demo.
today, yesterday, I guess.
And he said once they clear it, the construction company's telling them about 2 to 2.5
About
months.
June, yep.
Yeah, so,
He's rebuilding.
Yep,
He'll put it right back.
absolutely, yeah.
so that's,
Is he the owner, or is he just,
He's the owner.
he owned the building?
Nick does, yeah.
Okay.
all the explorers will be at town meeting. I got contacted by the same people that helped us last year to put the Walk for Addiction together. So they want to, I'm meeting with them tomorrow afternoon to pick a new date. So if you have any suggestions, throw them my way. I'll try to check with the school too, so we don't conflict with anything over there. So that's tomorrow afternoon.
I have a suggestion. Put the slowest ones in the front. That way it can't go any faster than the slowest ones. I was running to keep up. Just saying, I got bad lungs. They put the marathon.
You have an awful lot going on tomorrow afternoon, Chief.
Yeah. On the 24th, I just got a call on this. It's a Thursday night, so I got to bring it up. I'll have to see if the can cover it. They want to have a roundtable summit with President of the Chiefs Association, head of the DEA, head of the FBI, head of HIDA, the 2 major city chiefs, Chief of Lawrence, to talk about the huge trafficking problem coming into the state. It's like a 5 to 7 on Thursday, the 24th.
In March.
Yeah, they've had some big roundtable discussions about prevention, education, treatment, but not one about enforcement. And so they feel that they need to do this one too.
Well, that's when we have, you know who coming in.
You might have to send a counterpart to the meeting that night.
You have to come. Somebody has to be here.
Oh, he's not coming.
Oh,
No, he's
Well, that's news to us.
oh my God, I
No,
No, I didn't know that.
Who did I tell?
I don't know, but you didn't tell us.
Oh, I said satisfied with the 17th.
Yeah, he said he was very fine on the phone, and he said he wouldn't need to come in and meet with the board because he was going to be meeting with you on the 17th.
The 17th has been changed to the 22nd. But I'm good with that. So he's not coming? That's New Franklin Apartments.
oh. But I mean, if I could have,
Will,
if he does come, Sergeant Morrison or the cap,
yeah, it's gotta be one of them.
Anyone in uniform?
or both.
Maybe
It
Steve
might
Henry.
entail overtime.
Corporal Henry's been a point guy down there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
yeah.
okay, that's good then.
Even
I
if you
think for
come.
this discussion, that isn't going to matter.
Right.
No.
Okay.
All right.
I have something on the 31st at 3, they're swearing in the new U.S. Attorney, Emily Rice, but that's a 3 to 4 deal, so I should be here by
We'll just make you
5:30.
later.
Yeah.
Right?
And then lastly, Catherine, I was able to grab your numbers. She just
I
wanted...
wanted every week.
Oh, okay. Some weeks we don't get them, but for last year, we had, she wanted medical-related numbers. So we had 43 fire, 227 medical-related. And I can't give you, but those could be anything from, we go to a domestic and the wife needs medical attention, or we go to an overdose, or fire department requests us to a call for some reason. So it's a whole, each medical call, the log, it'll just say that police and fire were requested together for some reason.
Okay,
But,
as long as it's,
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like, here's an example, we had a person came in as an unknown medical at Dunkin' Donuts the other day, so, then it comes in as it's a heart attack, echo level, but some of those have been actually overdoses when we get there. I know we had 2 at the gas station, and we had officers doing CPR when they get there. So, this ended up being CPR. but the person didn't make it. But, so we don't know, they don't know, and we don't know what we're going to when these come in sometimes. It could be anything. But
Are you able to talk more, tell me if it's not a public conversation, but more about the domestic call that an officer went on and there was a gun fired?
yeah, so...
Can you talk about that?
Winnisquam Shores.
Yeah, as long as I don't talk about names, sure. You know, they got a call of a violent domestic, and then another call that said, out of that same apartment with a violent domestic, male, female scream, and they heard a shotgun blast, specifically a shotgun blast. And so that's one of those, when you get there, you really gotta be very, very safe and conscientious how you approach the house. And you don't know if he just killed her and now he's gonna kill the next person coming up the walkway. And so they were able to talk this guy out, not right away, but communicate with him through PA to come out, and eventually got him in custody. And looking at it, I really like the way they handled it. You know, emotions are so high. If someone's so upset that they're going to touch off a shotgun round, they're capable of anything when you come through the door. You know, and you don't know what led up to that. Did he just lose custody of the kids? Is it emotional issues, alcohol, whatever's going on behind the scenes? But usually, if a handgun goes off or a shotgun, you know it's already pegged out in the emotion level. And so they were able to talk him out, which I thought was a great job, and it was really Officer Ort did an outstanding job. You know, and sometimes going into those too hot, too fast, if emotions of that high can almost precipitate a use of force, almost cause it to happen, you know, reaction. It's really a judgment call, and it can backfire too, because going in too late, you know, he can hurt family members. So you really have to decide, family members in imminent danger, is it safer to call them out or to charge in there? And you're really listening to screams and what's going on when you get there to try to make that call in a couple of split seconds. But he did it, like I mentioned with Officer Corporal Henry, he did a great job. So there's
Is there a body camera recording?
Yeah, oh yeah. So there's going to be a couple things coming up that are certainly noteworthy.
Do you want to schedule a time for that? You're going to be not here the 31st, the 24th, and
Jude, yeah, I mean, do you want to shoot for...
April.
Yeah.
Seventh or the 14th?
That's our annual.
He wants to recognize 2 officers for their,
Or anything throughout the whole year, were there any other?
as we go along, we try to do it within a few months.
Right.
Right.
I mean, is there either one, whichever the board prefers, is 7 or 14?
Well, you have to get members together, so you want to shoot for the 14th? At 6?
Okay.
So are you hearing me, Gail?
6 o'clock on the 14th, awards for PD.
Yep. So there's 2, right? Unless you have another one.
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great. I didn't get a chance to read that entire article, but there was an article on the front page today about the floor, which I had no idea was going on.
Yeah,
About the floor, really?
The floor
at
in
the
the...
senior center.
Yeah, it was
The Echo.
Emily's picture with a piece
Oh,
of
I didn't get
wood.
I saw
Against the old
cover. I haven't
floor.
had a chance either, yeah.
I didn't
Like she
know-
was gonna start changing it right then. It kinda, it's like, looks like she's trying to fit it over the top of the old.
Is she coming to town meeting?
Yes,
Oh, good.
yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
That's all I have for this week.
All right, thank you. Did you talk with Chuck about the Explorers?
Oh, do you want me to?
Yeah, the explorers are recognized on the town cover of the town report. They are going to be present at town meeting.
Oh,
Should we
yes.
That would be a good
say,
opening.
should we say something, just, recognize, have the explorers stand and just a round of applause or something, or just
Why
write,
don't you read?
like 2 sentences or something? Can you give that to me to,
Why don't we read the,
it's kind of long though, isn't it?
Well, there's
Where
a
is it?
piece that I did, made a shorter one.
Okay,
Rich's, and then there's a short one.
okay.
Yeah, we could just have a minute.
Yeah, do you want to call Chuck, or I can tonight, whatever?
awful oversight?
Either way, however you want to. Okay. That would be great. I think they should be recognized.
Yes.
Batteries for the microphones. Was that last year? Batteries.
Yeah, make sure we have a lot of batteries for the microphones. Okay. Tim, did you want to speak with us?
No, I just came in case there were any questions. If anybody had anything.
Anyone have any questions for Tim? Because we're on selectmen's reports and then we're out of here.
Have a non-public, don't
Oh,
we?
yeah, I guess we have a non-public.
I have a question about the crypto-local virus, or whatever it is.
Crypto locker.
Crypto Locker?
Is it just email you have to worry about?
No, you can get it through links in videos or links in pictures.
What's a link?
A link is something you would click on. So sometimes in videos, it says, click here, go to my website or something like that. When you're watching a video, a link can come up.
I don't think I've ever watched a video on them.
It's pretty common,
Okay.
especially on YouTube. You see things like
I
that.
don't do
all the time.
YouTube, okay.
Chief, go ahead.
Just to feedback on what Tim's saying too, is that I'm also seeing it'll be, instead of an email address, it'll be a phone number, and that'll say click on a link, you never...
So if somebody says, something says click on, don't click on.
Well, if Tim sends you a link, chances are it's on the up and up.
Not necessarily.
Hey, I'm not clicking on anything that says click on, so don't send me anything that says click on.
Here's,
I'm good.
I've gotten a few emails that said they were from my daughter. They weren't her address. It has her name on it, but if you look closely, you have to look at the details
Yep.
from where the message came from before you click on anything in that whole thing. They are sneaky.
Yep.
The good news when you're using the Chromebooks, you're not, you won't be susceptible to that because they can't run, they won't do any damage on the Chromebook. And they're not tied to it. The Chromebooks aren't on a network in a way that it can do damage to them. So the board really shouldn't have to worry about what you're using.
There's nothing stored in Chromebook?
I'm sorry?
There's nothing stored in a Chromebook?
No, there are, but it's a different environment.
It's not getting to the,
Yeah, so-
it's not getting through the wall to our network.
You're gonna wipe everything off the Chromebook when I turn it in next year anyway, aren't you?
There's a,
It's not
I forget what they call it, a window washer, or wash or something, power wash, or, yeah. please,
All right, selectmen's reports. Who wants to go first?
I'm good.
Well, we started at this end, so I have here the New Hampshire state flag that was flying on the front of our building. This past Sunday, I had a resident call me and said, "Joe, what is that heap on the front of the building?" Well, gee whiz, I don't know. What does it look like? It's hard to say, but I think it's a flag that was beside the American flag, which had to be the New Hampshire state flag. The top of the pole is broken in some form or manner, and I believe I set it over there. Or maybe I brought it downstairs, I
It's over there
forget.
in the file cabinet.
Yeah, it's right there on that file cabinet. And there was no way I could reach the end of that pole or remove the pole, so I went out, nervous, those boards are real nasty, and unclipped it and folded it back up. So this is the New Hampshire state flag that used to fly on the front of the building. The pole... Yeah, no problem, I'm a tough guy. Yeah, right. And while I was out there, well, first of all, that means our pole needs some sort of repair. And I'm not sure what that will constitute, but the pole has to be removed or something to get out to the end of it. There's no hanging over the edge, or even if it was sturdy enough, there's no hanging over the edge. And I happened to notice that our American flag, while not tattered, is looking pretty rough. Dirty, stained.
Not too long ago.
It's been at least a year, I'll bet you. Well, it's still dirty and stained, no matter if it's only been up a week. So we might think about, at such time as they go out, to repair this. When they rehang this, we rehang a new American flag, but you guys should take a look at it. We'll have time between now and then, so you could decide. And let me see, there was something else.
While you're on that topic, it's always been an issue out there.
Yep.
Those are not flagpoles. They were
No.
made.
Yeah.
Yankee ingenuity. But they've never really worked right. The American flag is usually twisted up in a heap, and so isn't the state flag. I think it's time that we got real flagpoles, or at least the real devices that attach on the end. They keep making things
Right.
and trying to make it work that don't.
Well, the store in Concord, remember, they recommended, we went down there and they recommended a certain pole with the unit that would not tangle it up.
That's right.
Let's contact them again and get,
Is this the place in Wolfboro, or?
no, in Concord.
Main Street in Concord.
Main Street, Concord. The flag store. I think that if we just call him up, he might even take a ride up to see what we've got here, the situation, and recommend what we need. I agree with you.
If we're going to fly it, then we need to fly it correctly.
Yes.
It's like,
Well, I couldn't
right now,
let
the
the
flag is
flag,
supposed to be at
I
half-staff
couldn't let
until
that go.
Nancy Reagan is interred.
Right.
Should be half.
Do you know how many of them aren't at half-staff?
Right.
I know, but how are we supposed to conveniently get out there to raise and lower those flags?
We can't. Because there's
Those aren't the
no-
flags that are supposed to be at half-staff, I don't think. But while we're getting new flagpoles,
Right.
maybe
We could.
they have some with lanyards.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And we
if
just
you're gonna
like
fly the
move
flag,
the rope.
do it justice or don't fly it.
Well, you know what? We did take the tree down in the corner down there. Why not put a flagpole up there?
Where are the power lines in relationship to it?
No, in the corner of the building.
No, but the
The-
power lines are
I'll
pretty close.
have to take a look. Would that be an option? And then we could do a half-staff when we needed it.
Maybe. It's kind of close. You'd have to do some measurements. I don't know how long. You know, the flags that hang out here are what? Are they 5 foot? 4 foot?
3 by 5?
3 by 5.
5, yeah.
This is a 5-footer because it wasn't touching the floor
Put
when I
them up on
held
a
it up.
flagpole. Would they be larger than that?
Depends on what you
Height of
want.
the flagpole.
It depends on the height of the flag.
They
If you
wouldn't be
go to
smaller than
Gorham, Maine, you can get them like
No.
50 feet long.
Depends on the height of the flag.
This is standard.
So I'm just saying, you'd have to do some measurements, but I've got a feeling you'd have the roof of their porch on the inn, and those power lines.
So maybe, yeah, if the wind was taking it, you'd be going into and tattering it with the thing. You
I
might be-
think
Or
the
flapping it.
flagpole would be better anyway, because the tree really kind of covers the half of the top part. You don't really get to see it.
But we were thinking of a flagpole where we took the tree out down in the corner there.
Yeah, it
But
looks like it would work.
I
The
don't think,
porch is
the
there.
porch is there, the wind would blow the flag up against the porch.
No, we're looking at where the tree came out between Tilton and the town hall.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
There's room there.
The power lines are up at almost the top of the second floor of the inn, right in here, way above the tree, so I think it would...
And you've got a pole with a flag that's 5 feet plus the lanyard, so the flag is at least 5.5 feet out, flapping around.
Yeah.
So where's the porch in relationship to how high you're gonna have the flagpole?
I'll have to do some measurements.
That's what I just said. Thank you, Joe.
The porch of the town.
The porch of the Tilton Inn.
Just trying to move this along, Catherine. I don't
Because
know
you've
what-
got 5
what's going on
feet.
over there, but, yeah.
And
Thanks,
if it's
Joe.
windy, it's gonna be brushing up against the building, which would only tatter
Not
it.
working.
With a kiosk.
Oh, God.
Same thing, you've got buildings and power lines. That's why they're hanging off in front of the building.
Investigate it, okay? Got it.
Let's
All right,
try and get
Joe.
it done by,
Okay.
4th of July,
Flower truck.
Memorial Day.
that's it.
Flower truck.
Have something done
What
by
about the
then.
flower trough?
Put the flagpole there.
Where?
That would be away from the,
Woo.
And
Out.
somebody's gonna walk out there every day to take it down and put it up?
They would have to.
lights on it, you don't have to.
Well,
There's no
that's
lights
true.
out there.
You'd have to put lights
You know,
out
the
there.
building looks nice, the
Yeah,
flagpole's on it,
let's-
it's
yeah,
town
let's not-
hall,
yeah,
not
let's
center.
just-
Measure.
Let's just,
I like it. Good.
let's just, yeah,
Still not working.
I know.
thank you for the sanitary.
Joe wants to continue.
All right, Joe.
So, moving right along, June 25th, mark that date on your calendars, everybody, because that's Old Home Day. Parades, fun in the sun down here at the Pines. This year's theme is going to be lights, camera, action, a night at the movies. Make up your floats as you know, some Wizard of Oz or whatever your favorite movie is. And in that regard, we'll need to nominate somebody toward Citizen of the Year because they march in the parade. And I have a suggestion that I would like to put forward that you could think about. We don't need to talk about this right now, but that individual has never been the Citizen of the Year.
She would be great.
It's a good one.
I did a little research,
That's
and
a
it
good
just
one,
struck
Joe.
me as a good thing. So think about that. We've still got some time before we have to deal with that. On the 14th of March, which will be next Monday. Yeah, the fire district meeting is upon us. And I'm just throwing that out there because the fire district meeting is upon us. That'll be held in the cafetorium, I believe, at the high school. And be there or be square. It starts at
Should be
6 p.m.
6 or 7, almost.
6 p.m., I do believe.
Wow, I'll be late
But
then.
check your fire district website, and I'm sure Mr. Pearson will have it listed on ours as well, right?
I believe it is.
There you go.
7 o'clock it starts.
Exactly, what Peter said, 7 p.m. at the high school, so be there. And that's all I've got for right
Not
now.
school district the following Saturday.
Well, I figured that we could do that next Thursday, but the school district is
19th
the
is-
following Saturday.
8 o'clock, isn't it?
When is the water district?
That I don't know.
That's out there, because they don't,
It's within
They're
that same
district.
week.
I thought it was like the week or two after.
It's within the same couple weeks.
You'd have to ask someone who's on water.
Yeah, I am, I just don't know it, though. I'll call.
They try to keep it quiet.
All right. I just have one thing I want to bring to the attention of the selectmen. Hope it's not going to run a discussion like it did on the flooring. The executive committee would like to put up in the hallway of the senior center, on each side of the hallway as you go in, to the right and to the left, a wall, create a closet with shelving so that we could have more storage for the program director and the executive committee. And also in the hallway where the office is for the program director, in that hallway where the bathrooms are, in the corner going into the kitchen. We'd like to put a closet there that would store, so that we could lock it, build out a closet with shelves, so we can lock it with all of the craft items and different items that need to be locked up so people don't.
Where's the hatch to go into the attic?
It will be on the right-hand side of the hatch. So it misses by 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches, the hatch. So in that corner.
These permanent structures, or would you be able to take them down?
You'd probably be able to take them down. What is going to be permanent is my third one, is it's a wish, and we would like to accommodate the program director. In her office, there absolutely no window whatsoever. There's no air coming in or out, and there's no room for a fan to put in there, because it's just a tiny little office. So we got an estimate to have a window put in, and that would be a permanent, a small window. So I asked a couple of people for estimates, and Homelock Construction finally came through with one. And he actually has a window that he's going to donate to it. And so the estimate is really putting the window in.
Is it in keeping with the
Yeah,
age of the building and
pretty close to it.
style of the building?
Pretty close to what is in the hallway and the new windows that are in the kitchen, bathroom, and hallway.
The age and
Now.
style of the
That's an
building.
add-on, but this is, what you're suggesting is in the original building?
No, it's in the add-on.
This is in the add-on.
Right, this is right in the add-on,
So it's beyond that,
the original
those
portion of it.
original windows.
Yep.
That when you
In
look at them are
keeping
blurry.
with the add-on windows.
The
Yes.
glasses are-
Yep, right,
This is down by the bathrooms.
right.
I think it's by the
Will it
bathrooms.
be some,
Down by the-
will it match the windows that are already in that addition?
It'll match, you're right. Pretty close match the windows that are in the hallway itself, on the same side of the building, within a couple of feet of it.
Personally, I don't have an objection if it does match the existing windows, but I don't think we should have 3 or 4 different types of windows in the building.
No, I'm iffy. If it doesn't match those ones along the side, it's gonna look odd. Just saying.
The window that's in the hallway, you mean, that's already in the new one?
You've got 3 in a row, 3 or 4 on the
Why don't
side
we
of the
take-
building.
I'll take-
And then you'll have one that's an odd one, down on the end. Even if it matches the one in the back, or the ones in the back, nobody sees the ones in the back. You can't see that from the road, so as you're driving up on it, off Route 3, it's gonna be window, 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 and a little window.
Well, you see
I'm
the
just saying.
really big windows.
That's right.
The real big windows are the old built windows. Then you go into the hallway, and there's one window that's fairly new, that we put in
Oh, that's
in
true.
2007,
That's true, there's already one down there, isn't there?
I believe. The Historical Society put that in.
No.
Oh, we did then, and we did it in 2009.
It's never been the Tilton Historical Society by the town of Tilton.
By the Grange.
So that window matches the 3 kitchen windows.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get it will be a smaller version of that, but matching it.
It's the same but different, Catherine.
The same, but
Close, but
different
not
size.
really.
Yeah,
Different
no,
size.
see, that's not aesthetically pleasing.
It has to be a different size because the office is a different size. If you have, so here you have the hallway, comes out like this, and we have an office right here. And then here's the hallway, like this, and here's a window right here. This is a window. In her office, it's got a low ceiling, so it's not going to be as tall as this one here.
Why
Because
does the
this,
ceiling height change?
because they built this after, the people that were before us built this as what was gonna be like an office. The maintenance room and the office were already sheet-rocked and walled and everything before we got there. And it's not a very high ceiling.
The roof slopes.
Right.
The roof slopes.
Thank you.
Shed roof, right? It's like a shed addition.
It goes
type.
down like
Yeah,
this.
it was built as a shed-type add-on. So the roof slopes from the back of the original Grange
Right.
Do you have
down.
a picture of the window and?
I don't have a picture of the window.
Yeah, you could send a picture.
I'll
and
just say-
Sizes and,
It's not
I mean,
windows in the bathroom.
The windows in the
can't see 'em
bathroom
from
are
the-
smaller,
That's right.
are this, they're
Yeah.
longer, but they're like this.
Near what you see from.
They're not a normal window, they're a
Well,
bathroom
from
window.
Route 3, but people
You know
don't
what I
really look.
suggest is that we all take the opportunity to go down to the senior center and take a look.
I was there yesterday.
Come
Tell
back
them
with
to go ahead and do
pictures.
it. All right.
Tomorrow I'm there.
did they get the roof done?
I would, but I have a JOB.
Being a selectman
Pretty
is-
well scheduled out.
That's, see, I have multiple JOBs.
Do you have a problem with do you have a problem with us
But you
building
have
the
the
closets?
scheduling
in there?
conflict.
Yes.
Do you have that problem? It's a sheetrock wall. Across.
It's sheet rock and
And what
But
we-
that's all hardwood, and it's all hardwood floor, right?
And it can be taken out anytime.
And you're
Not in
gonna
the
nail,
back.
you're gonna nail it into the
Not in the
hardwood floor.
back.
No, we're talking about the front. The two closets in the front foyer, you're gonna nail to the hardwood
Yeah, it's
floor.
hardwood floor out there, and I would say, I'm going to ask,
It's gonna be replaced.
Can
is
buy a
that
cupboard?
part of the replacement process?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be brand-new hardwood floor you're gonna be putting those bottom studs into?
But right now, we have cabinets there.
That's their wish.
We have, like those gray cabinets, we have like 3 of them, and they're chock-a-block full, and it's not real conducive to the space, using the space.
How big of a door you
We
putting
have
on this?
3,
Is it like a
we have
sliding
3,
or accordion doors on this wall? Is it a
We need to
closet
have
or you
it
gonna have
locked.
like?
we need to have
Okay.
something that's
So you're gonna
locked.
have an actual.
We were gonna take remember the original doors that went from the main hall to the kitchen, the main hall to the hallway? We had to make them larger, so we had to take the original doors down. We were gonna take those original doors and use the doors to the closet. So aesthetically, it looked in keeping with the rest of the building. So that's what we were gonna do. But it has 3 walls, and we were gonna just put shelves all along those 3 walls so that it would be more effective use of the space than to have 4 of those cabinets and all locked. And if you had something that was a tote, you couldn't put it in there.
Well, my thoughts is that it should be installed after the floor has been put down, and I realize that the plate along the bottom will put some nails that will go through it. Those can be patched with putty if anybody ever wanted to change them or anything, but it's better than having a gap in the wood.
Oh, no,
That'll have
I
to be
want
filled
the
in.
wood, the hardwood floor that's in there has to be replaced, all of it.
So replace the floor, and after the floor is replaced, then put the wall on top of that. Then that way, that wall could be taken out and all would be left, and use minimal required nails for going in.
We could
No
do that because
adhesive.
we could secure it to the wall instead of the floor.
Well, you will have to,
Right.
or it will be
You'll have to
flopping.
You'll have
secure
to
it to
do-
the
you'll have
floor
to
too.
do a couple.
whenever
They
you
can
shut the
use,
door,
they
the
don't
wall.
have
Minimal.
to put construction adhesive in it.
All
Couple
right,
dozen
I will
16s
ask,
nail.
I will ask for a picture of the window, I'll ask for a picture of I'll take a picture of the existing window. We'll bring it up next week.
I'll ask for a picture
If the floor is good. I'm
the-
okay with the cabinet, I mean,
The closets are okay?
Yeah.
The closets are okay?
I provide the floor plate goes on top of the new hardwood floor.
I think it's very minimal nails. Very minimal.
Yeah, 2 nails on
screws.
each
So they're
side
gonna
of it.
install
No
it after they
screws.
put the hardwood floor in?
It's not going to happen until April,
Oh, okay.
after
That's on screw.
way after the floors are done. As a matter of fact, he's offered to help with, donate some of his time and help with putting in, installing the floors. This guy.
That guy?
Remember he was sitting out here for a couple of weeks in a row? Chris.
Oh, yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
Nice young man.
yes, yeah, that's great.
Next.
Well, good, we've
All
got
right.
2 hammer guns. He can run one if he's got experience.
That's all I have, so Catherine.
The only thing I have is the proposed amendment to the housing standards ordinance. I mean, this amendment really is how I figured it would go anyway, but I guess I was naive to think that, town meeting was going to trust us to do this. So this, and I don't know how they'll take it, but...
To see if the town will vote to adopt the Tilton Housing Standards Ordinance. Enforcement of the ordinance shall not begin until the Housing Board Committee has been formed, has held public hearings, and reviewed the ordinance for amendments. The first members of the committee shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016. The Tilton Health Officer will not be a member of the Housing Board's committee.
Can we drop an S off of boards?
Did I?
Yep. Housing Board Committee.
Just wordsmithing.
Well, it's only one board.
Right. So I was wondering why you pluralized it.
I did?
The second to last word.
Oh, I was looking at the top one.
The only thing, I agree with this, Catherine. The only thing is that it seems like there should be something about the makeup of the board.
It's in the housing ordinance. It's by statute.
The current housing ordinance?
Yep, it's by statute.
No, it's in this one that we were proposing.
Yeah, but that's not in force.
To see if the town will vote to adopt a Tilton Housing Standards Ordinance.
Yep.
So this requires them to adopt it. Enforcement of the ordinance shall not begin. So the health officer isn't going to go out and start enforcing the ordinance.
So what you're saying is the Housing Standard Board consists of 5 members, 2 of them will be head of the municipal health department, the fire chief, 1 member of the land use board, and 1 member at large.
And most of that is by statute. They could even change that once they're formed. Like I think the landlord one, it's required that they're a resident, but it could just say a taxpayer.
This one doesn't say a landlord.
Thought it did.
So did I.
It says 5 members, 2 of whom shall be head of the municipal health department, as per RSA 128, the fire chief, 1 member of the land use boards, and a member at large.
Keep going.
The member at large shall be a landlord owning a residential rental property within the town of Tilton, and who shall also be a legal resident of the town of Tilton.
Okay.
So that,
I'd like to see a tenant on there, quite frankly. Just my wish list.
Well, and the housing board could do that.
Aha.
They can do that
Now,
stuff.
if this was adopted, who would vote to make this a law?
Town meeting.
Town meeting did, because they,
No, who would vote after, but they're voting on something that doesn't exist yet.
It exists in
they're
this
gonna
form right
vote
here.
on this ordinance.
But,
Right.
no, they're
They're
voting
voting
on
to
what they
create the
amend.
ordinance.
No, they're voting on the ordinance.
They're voting, it says right here that they're going to amend it and change it,
Of
and
course.
that's what will get voted on.
No. To
So
see if the
so-
town will vote to adopt the Tilton Housing Standards Ordinance.
Yes.
Which is this document. The enforcement of this document will not be enforced until the board that's created by this ordinance has an opportunity to read it, review it, and make possible amendments, or make amendments. Public hearings. They may not change a thing.
So in other words, instead of us going back to the drawing board and making amendments to better suit the town of Tilton, let the Housing Board Committee make the amendments necessary from this to create it. the
If
ordinance.
they choose to make amendments.
Who says, and where does it say that the board's recommendations will become part of the ordinance?
It says right here that to see if the town will vote to adopt a Tilton Housing Standards Ordinance. So they're adopting an ordinance. That ordinance becomes the ordinance until the Housing Committee makes the amendments needed to,
So the final version is for the Housing Board to determine?
committee to make amendments, to put out to the public hearings, and
But the decision is by the Housing Board Committee
Ultimately.
of what it will be, not to the legislative body on Saturday.
That's right.
So it actually removes it from the public being able to actually
Vote on the
discuss it or vote on it,
final
on the final
ticket.
version.
No, it requires public hearings.
But public hearings aren't allowing the legislative body to vote. So this will allow what's there to be approved and a committee to be formed, and that committee doesn't have to change it if they,
Nope.
at all. It could just stay the way it is. So the
But I got a
legislative
feeling
body
they'll
is
change it.
waiving their decision, their ability to express how they feel about it or what they want in it.
Public hearings, that's what they're for.
But they don't get to vote on that. And at the
Public hearing.
at the public hearing, they don't get to vote on it. But at the town meeting, they get to vote on it.
so what
So
John
they're
is...
waiving their right to vote on it.
Right, what John is
Well-
saying is if we have if like, for instance, the Housing Board has a public hearing tonight on the housing standard changes that they see fit to put in, and 50 people show up, and they have very particular changes that they would like to make, it's still up to the Housing Committee to make those changes or not. It's not up to the 50 people that showed up.
That's true.
And that's what it is. Jane Alden, I'll recognize you as public.
It seems to me that if you create this board, and this board makes changes, has public hearings and so on and so forth, then what comes out of that should be brought back to the legislative session the following year. And that the legislative session should be able to vote on it at that time. Otherwise, you're not allowing the townspeople, the taxpayers, to have a say in it at all.
In the final, I agree with you, in the final
Interesting.
analysis, whatever we come up with should ultimately be voted on by us, the people, in my personal opinion. So,
Public hearing doesn't, I mean, we can have public hearings and suggestions can be made, but unless that board chooses to do something with those suggestions, they die.
And I think that would be a good way to get, because if you have the board, then you've got people that can present it and the reasonings why, and it can come from a landlord, a tenant, all these people
chief
with
of
their
police, the
findings.
health officer, because the health officer should speak to it.
Well, speak to it, but I don't think the health officer should be part of the board that creates it.
I don't disagree with you,
I
Kathy.
mean, setting up my own set of, what am I going to
But
enforce? 'Cause
So
I
if you-
didn't
if
create
that
this,
was-
this is
At public
Pittsfield's.
hearing, it's important that
Well,
your
that's
input.
different, that's an input. I'm just saying the health officer shouldn't be part of the board.
If that's what we want to create, and that's what we want to go in with the intent to say, we all know what the intent of the Housing Standard Ordinance wants to do, and we kind of, this may be an understatement when I say this is a little bit over on some areas, and it does need to be changed. So if we went to the public and said, this needs to be changed a little bit, we agree, which is what you're trying to attempt to do here, and say, we'd like to make an amendment, we'd like to create a committee, the Housing Standard Committee, to take this ordinance and create it to best suit the town of Tilton, and then have several public hearings on it. The committee's to be made up of, and I've heard different opinions on this, either 5 or 7, some say landlord, some say landlord and tenant member at large. But if you had a 5 committee member or 7 committee member, it doesn't really matter, and have a 7 committee member, and then they have public hearings, and then the requirement of that is that they have a finalized copy ready for the warrants in January of 2017 for a final public hearing.
Now, I know that there is indeed an amendment already written that proposes to do just exactly that. That's prepared, they're prepared to offer it wham bam at town meeting. So we can...
I'd really like to have it come from the selectmen. It's a selectmen's ordinance, we should really come from us rather than come
I
from
do
the
not
public.
disagree with that either. I think it should come from us. If we can all agree to go that route, as opposed to approving this and let 5 people change it around and then 5 people get the vote. Of what
Well-
the final ordinance looks like, as opposed to the entire legislative body.
I'm happy as long as it gets started. But here is the statute. So you have a board consisting of at least 5 members. So you can have more than 5 members. You could have 7. I put 5 in it because it's hard to get people to join boards anyway.
That's true.
2 of whom shall be head of the municipal health department. Well, that's the Board of Selectmen. So 2 of them have to be selectmen. And head of the municipal fire department. So that's the fire chief or his designee. So that takes up 3. You only have 2 left. And
Chief of police?
the ones that are in there,
Land use.
that basically came from Pittsfield.
So if we want, all right, so let's think about this.
3.
So we have 2 members of the board, which is health. So there's 2 members of the board. Fire chief, there's 3. A land use person, that's 4.
Landlord.
Chief, that's 5. A landlord, that's 6. And a member at large, that's 7.
Well, I think should be a tenant.
If possible.
So now you're going up to 8, or get rid of the chief.
Well, you need an even number. I mean, an odd number. You can't have an
So you
even
got the
number.
chief of the fire department, what about the chief of police?
I have both.
Oh, okay.
So you want,
You either want a 5 or a 7-member board.
so if we have,
I think you want a
if we
9.
take out the chief of police, if we take out the chief of police and do the fire chief, which is more housing and things like that, right? Then you would have room to have a tenant,
And that would give us 7?
and that would give you 7. So you would have 2 health department, which would be selectmen, fire chief, land use, landlord, member at large, and a tenant. That would be 7. So then you would say to create a committee, to see if the town will vote to adopt, to create, let me see, to create a
Tilton Housing Standards Board,
committee, Tilton,
okay?
to create a Tilton Housing Standards, no, it's Tilton Housing Board Committee. Right?
That would be redundant.
Tilton
It's a board
Housing,
or a committee.
Tilton
Housing
Housing
Standards
mission on at
Board.
the end,
There is
Joe?
created here under a Housing Standards Board.
Tilton Housing Standard Board.
Should be something that's referred to in there.
But I got to say redundant words.
Enforcement of this shall not begin, no, we can take that out. Okay. The first members of the committee shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016. The Tilton Health Officer will not be a member of the Tilton Housing Standard Board. Committee shall consist of 2, what does it say, health officials? How does it word it in the RSA?
Well, I'm sorry, where were you?
Under the committees, you said 2 health,
2 members,
Board of Health.
2 of whom shall be head of the municipal health department.
Health-
Okay, so committee shall consist of 2
Of whom shall be the head,
of whom shall be the head of the municipal health department, fire chief, tell me if I'm going too fast, a landlord, a member of the land use department.
that's not by statute.
Okay.
Can I ask why we would have a member of the land use department?
Well, either planning or land use would be a part of that, because they're associated with regulation, zoning, and all that.
by statute.
Site
By
plan.
statute. Right. And then, 1 member at large and 1 tenant.
1 member at large
Member
shall
at
be a
large.
landlord owning a residential rental property within the town of Tilton,
Not
and
a
who shall
town
also
official.
be a legal resident of the town of Tilton.
But are we limiting it to residents, or just,
And it
That
doesn't-
would,
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be, it could be a taxpayer.
yeah,
so that could be some guy from Rhode Island.
He's a landlord in the town of Tilton.
That's right, and I would just soon have it be a resident of the town of Tilton, quite frankly.
That's why I put resident, but
I think resident is,
So we're going to have a,
because they know more about what's going on in town.
all right, so let's back up for the wording here. We have a fire chief, a land use agent, right? A landlord, do you want to specify resident of the town of Tilton?
I would.
Okay.
I don't, but I don't care.
And then 2, so then a member at large and a tenant?
So what happens if no
Again.
tenants volunteer? How about 2 members at large?
One consisting of
One may be a tenant.
one may be a tenant.
So if you don't find any tenants volunteering, you can still get another member at large.
Yeah,
All right.
With the instructions of the moderator, we'd like a tenant first.
Right, so it would be 2 municipal health department members, a fire chief, land use, that's 4, landlord, that's 5, and 2 members of at large, 1 preferably being a tenant, that's 7.
Can't we make it, I think we can find a tenant. I think that's important.
Well,
You know,
I want to
hate
try,
see-
but if you don't find one, are you going to then go to 6?
no.
That's why,
Well, I mean, if
yeah, I'm
you-
agreeing with you
yeah.
that we should have a tenant,
Is there any way we should,
but if you don't get
so
one
make the
before
member
April
at
15th.
large and either or.
it'd be nice to have a tenant. to
No, I-
So then you
voice
could
our
either
opinion.
have 2
But if you don't find one by
tenants.
April 15th, John, what happens? Because we're telling the
We don't
moderator
find
by
any-
April
any-
15th.
Well, yeah, we'll find. yeah,
So
we-
make the member at
We will
large
find the
and either or.
landlords.
Yeah,
We
well,
will find
definitely.
the fire chief,
Then
we'll
you could
find
have
all of them. Yeah,
accommodation
you're right
of-
there.
Either one or 2
That would be
of one.
6, though.
Can you just
No,
put it as,
just to have the member at large position, either a landlord or a tenant.
Choice?
Okay.
Not
That
in.
would bring the number to 6 instead of 7.
No, because it would be either or.
No, we have 2 selectmen,
The
1
wording,
fire
if you
chief.
said either a landlord or a tenant.
No, we
you
were
would
saying,
have
no,
one
we were
member.
saying a member, 2 members at large, preferably one being a tenant.
could we put
They have
that?
2 members at large. Oh.
you know,
They want 2 members at large?
So that
Well,
would
to
bring
get,
it
stay with our odd numbering.
Could we put one being
Or
a
we add
tenant
the
and
police
then
chief.
put a caveat that
Just take the police chief
if,
out.
in the event that no tenant is available, can be replaced with an additional landlord?
We took the chief
Put a
out.
caveat.
We had fire chief, land use, landlord, a resident, and a member at large. No, because that would give us an even number. Oh, it wouldn't if we
No, it
took the
wouldn't.
chief out. 'Cause that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You're right, okay. 2, is that okay, everyone?
So, I'd like to put, did you put in there, does anybody agree with that, that we would say ideally a tenant,
Yeah.
and that if one is not available, could be replaced? I know it's a little wordy, but
No, 2 members at large, preferably one of whom is a tenant.
And that gives the option. That
If he
gives you
can't
the
get a
option.
tenant, then he could just approve 2 members at large.
Right. Now,
We'll hope like hell we can get enough people to sit on the board.
all right, so, now comes that the committee shall, all right, now comes the action part of it. The committee shall,
Committee or board?
the board
Board.
shall create a Tilton Housing Standard ordinance.
Haven't we adopted it, so aren't they gonna be
No,
revising
we're
it?
not,
No,
we're not
we
doing
dropped
that.
that.
We dropped
We
that.
dropped the,
I
dropped
think
that
they
part
should
of it.
review.
So sentence 1 is
We're doing a
gone,
whole new thing.
okay.
Yeah, we're doing a whole new thing. We're not
Yeah.
voting.
I think maybe, as opposed to
Well,
create,
she's got
I
a
think
new
they
one
should
she's
review
writing,
and
just
amend.
using
That's why I'm getting that out of my way, so I don't refer to it.
Make recommendations.
So
minute.
so John is suggesting that the board shall review and amend the Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance.
The current one. Because we do have a current one, right, Catherine?
What?
A Tilton Housing Standards Ordinance. We have no ordinance whatsoever.
It's the RSA, is
The
it?
only thing we did was adopt 48A, and they kept...
So they can't review and amend because this
Okay.
has never been adopted.
Okay, yeah.
We
They
can't
can use
review
this as a starting point, but that's up to the housing boards.
So the board,
Discretion.
so the board shall
Create.
create the Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance. Have minimum of 2 public hearings.
Yeah. Properly noticed public hearings.
Properly noticed public hearings.
Gotta notice them too.
And will have it ready for warrant
For the 2017 town meeting?
February 2017, February 1st, 2017.
'Cause we gotta
When
get
you
it
finish
printed.
that, can you read it back?
Well,
Great.
how about if,
All right, go ahead, wait a minute,
Was-
Gail.
as opposed to create and present, if it was to review and make recommendations?
Review what?
Because
Yeah, what do
what
you-
would happen if they said, came to, oh, we don't want any ordinance at all?
Well, that would be the recommendation, wouldn't it?
That would be horrible.
Yeah, so have them,
Have them what?
Essentially, you could be creating something that makes the Wild Wild West.
if you're not going to have them adopt the housing standard ordinance.
You want default.
This year. You want them to, don't have them create one, have them review the proposed housing standard ordinance.
Review and amend the proposed?
Or review and recommend.
So you have a
Review
default.
and amend as necessary. I wouldn't make them have to amend it, I'd say as
Right.
necessary. I'm sure they're going to. I mean, I can tell you right now, there's 4 or 5 I take.
So review and amend
The
the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance as necessary.
Review and amend the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance
As,
Presentation at the 2017.
with a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and have it ready for the warrant February 1st, 2017, to be presented at town meeting.
Board shall review and amend the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance at a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and will have it ready for warrant for February 2017.
So I'll go back to the beginning, and what do you have?
2 of whom are head of municipal health department.
No, that's not the
It should
beginning.
be something before that.
You're
So
amending,
to see if the town will vote to
Create.
create a Tilton Housing Standard Board The first members of the committee shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016.
Okay,
The Tilton Health Officer will not be a member of the Housing Board Committee, the Housing Board. The board shall review and amend the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance, have a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and we'll have it ready for the 2017 warrant, February 1st.
27.
The board shall consist of,
now where are you going now? Okay, now where are you going now?
are you in Google?
Which is Google.
Are you sharing it?
No, I'm in my notes.
Oh, okay.
I'm just taking minutes. I don't, are you,
Are you going to read it back to us? This is important, because we need this for Saturday.
to see if the town will vote to create a Tilton Standard Housing Board.
Housing Standard Board.
Okay. With at least 7 members. 2 of whom are head of municipal health department, fire chief, land use agent, landlord, resident of the town of Tilton, and
But-
2,
Before that sentence, you have to say the first members of the committee shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016.
appointed by town moderator before April 15th. To create a Tilton Housing Standard Board appointed by town moderator before April 15th with at least 7 members, 2 of whom are head of municipal health department, fire chief, land use agent, a landlord, resident of the town of Tilton, and 2 members at large, one preferably a tenant. The board shall review and amend the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance, have a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and will have it ready for warrant for the February 1st, 2017.
Okay, it's just the beginning I have a question on.
I have a question, too.
As do I.
Okay. Joyce, can you type that? Can you just print that part out so you can just type it so that we need to make a motion on this tonight so that we can present it to amend Saturday?
Copy it, paste it, and send it.
I can send it, because mine won't print either.
While they're working on that, you said at least 7 members, but shouldn't it say shall consist of 7?
Of 7 members.
Right.
Not at
I had the
least.
same question.
Oh,
Also,
did we?
My question is different. It says, who shall consist of the head of the Public Health Board, Health Department? There is no head of the Public Health Department.
Yes, there is.
Who's the head of the Public Health Department?
It'd be us.
All of us are the head?
We are, no,
We are the Board of Health.
it's typically the chairman.
Well, then she can't be on it twice, all right? So it shouldn't say the
Well,
head.
wait a minute. You're not adopting the health ordinance, so quite frankly, you don't have to go by, didn't realize that when I told you the makeup of it. Because you're not adopting the housing ordinance now, you're just creating a committee.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be by statute. I think it should be closed so that people understand that.
My concern is with the wording, head of the Public Health
We can
Department.
just say two, we can just say
Two members of,
Say two
who
selectmen.
shall be members of the Board of Health.
Correct.
Right.
Because there is technically, well, maybe the chairman, but there is no technical board head.
And it could be, right.
Usually the head of the Board of Selectmen is considered the
Okay,
chairman.
I'll even give you that, but she can't serve on it twice, so
No,
we should remove the word head.
Why would I serve on it twice?
You could also be the landlord.
There you go, Pat.
Look, I just want to remove the
committee
word
doesn't-
head.
I think there are the landlords out there that could sit on this
Well,
committee.
then can she be the third one too, Joe, as member at large?
I just want to remove the word head,
I
that's
just
all.
wanted to know where you were going on that
Just
one.
wanna
Now that I
remove
know,
the
I
word
can't.
head. No, no.
No, Joe, no.
I talked to, a couple months ago, the guys, the head of the Public Works in Pembroke. They've been doing their own trash pickup.
I thought you had
I
it,
have a nice bottle of Captain Morgan at home,
You
but
open that
that
for
won't
me?
do you any good.
I thought you had it in the freezer there, keeping it cool.
Get out of town.
Prices were incredible.
It's just sitting there.
What?
They have a thing on the front.
All right, did it print?
There you go, yeah, print 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
I'm going
All right.
to get him to, and he saved you.
Oh, wait a minute, we may want to change a word or two.
All right, ready? To see if the town will vote to create a Tilton Housing Standard Board. No, we have to say the first, it says appointed by town moderator before April 15th. Should we do that, or the first members of the committee shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016?
The members.
The first members of the committee shall be appointed.
Your board, it's a housing standards board.
All right, the first members of the board shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th, 2016. So we cross out this and put in
It's only 7 o'clock.
the first
We're ahead of schedule.
Do we need the first?
members of, and we don't need to put with at least 7 members. We can say
Consisting of the,
the board will consist of 2 members of the Board of Health, which is the selectmen, the fire chief
Or his designee,
or designee,
might be
right, might be Tim.
Tim.
Might be Tim. Land use agent, land use,
Whatever you want. Remember, because you're not asking them to adopt the housing standard ordinance.
we're creating a
You don't have to
committee.
create the board exactly by statute.
Okay, so,
So you can take off the
look
health
similar.
officer, I mean, I wouldn't be part of it if they asked me to, but
The fire chief or his designee,
land use,
to simplify it.
use agent,
What is a land use agent?
just land use department, land use,
Personnel,
Member of
Personnel.
land use. Yeah, land use, that's it.
Land use personnel.
Perfect.
Board of Health, do you want to put selectmen in parentheses?
a
after?
landlord must be resident of the town of Tilton.
I can tell them it's
I'll bring it up.
128.3.
Okay, well, because they're going to ask, so if you put it there, it's,
You can just
One
put
last
per
question.
RSA 128.3. I think it's
Because they'll all know
And
what
2
that means.
members at large
Oh, I've got that down pat.
Resident of the town of Tilton.
Yep, and 2 members at large, one preferably a tenant. And then you have action, no, we will not.
As if it's 128.3.
The board shall review and amend if necessary the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance,
Have a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and we'll have it ready for warrant for the February 1st, 2017 town meeting.
Yeah, as per 128.3.
The town
As
meeting
per-
won't be February 1st.
128.
No, don't. I was answering Peter's question out loud.
What?
The statute,
All right, can you
But the
just,
public
you got
doesn't
it?
know that.
You got it now?
If you,
All right,
You have a question
the more
for
you
the
spell it out, the less questions, the faster the meeting goes.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
what?
Don't you want it by November 2016 if it's going to be a warrant article for the 2017?
The warrant articles have to be in by February, correct? By
Groundhog Day.
February 1st of 2017.
Tuesday in February.
Okay, but I thought they were usually developed the year before.
No, not warrant articles.
Or if they involve money, they have to be in order.
In
You have to go to the budget committee and so forth, but this one doesn't.
right. So, okay, read it back exactly the way you got it.
To see if the town will vote to create a Tilton Housing Standard Board. The first members of the board shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th. The board,
Yeah,
the board will consist of 2 members of the Board of Health, selected in parentheses, the fire chief or his designee, of land use personnel, a landlord must be a resident of the town of Tilton, and 2 members at large, 1 preferably a tenant. The board shall review and amend if necessary the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance, have a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and will have it ready for warrant for the February 1, 2017 town meeting.
Where you have selectmen in parentheses, after selectmen, you could put as per New Hampshire RSA 128:3.
There you go,
As per New Hampshire RSA,
128.
128:3.
If there was a military standard for it, I could
so
repeat
the board
that.
shall review and
Read
amend
procedures all
if
day.
necessary the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance.
As long as we get something.
all right.
Can we put as needed instead of if necessary? I mean, maybe it's not needed, but,
What was the end of that part, was the last sentence?
Read the whole thing one more time.
See if the town will vote to create a Tilton Housing Standing Board. The first
standards.
standards. I said standard. Yeah, look, I'll do the standard. The first members of the board shall be appointed by the town moderator before April 15th. The board will consist of 2 members of the Board of Health, selectmen, as per New Hampshire RSA 128:3, the fire chief or his designee, a land use personnel, a landlord must be a resident of the town of Tilton, and 2 members at large, 1 preferably a tenant. The board shall review and amend, if necessary, the proposed Tilton Housing Standard Ordinance, have a minimum of 2 properly noticed public hearings, and will have it ready for warrant for February 1st, 2017 town meeting.
That's good.
All right, now Joe's question was, where it says, if necessary, do you want to say as needed?
It says the same thing.
Okay.
The board shall review and amend.
Well, then, if necessary indicates that we think maybe it's not necessary. As needed, it serves the same function, but doesn't necessarily say that we feel one way or the other.
And goes to the intent
That's true.
of the needs of the towns of of towns of Tilton.
I don't see any difference in the wording, so, I mean, somebody else can,
What do you think? Peter?
Needed or necessary?
As needed or as necessary?
If necessary.
If necessary.
Necessary.
If necessary. It doesn't really matter to me.
Okay.
I'm as needed.
I guess we leave it.
It's too close, it could go either way.
Okay, we'll leave it like that. Can you isolate what you've written, send it to us, and then Joyce, send that to Chuck and say, this is what,
Let's get it printed out.
let's get it printed out so that we see it.
Jesus, I can't believe something might get done.
I didn't want it to amend what we already have on the books, because I could see the whole thing
We did
turn into...
find some little changes, some little typos and things that would need to be changed anyway.
Okay.
Which would be...
6:46.
All right. Step in the right direction.
April 15th,
What are you looking for, Jane?
James.
Some ginger?
do you need to put the year on there?
Ginger.
So do I.
Should we be putting the year, April 15th, 2016?
16.
Board shall consist of 2 members.
Yes.
Are we
Yes,
doing
we're just going to put after April, add the year.
Thank you, Pat.
A little technicality, but...
All right, read that. Before I print any of these tomorrow, we should correct this. I'm surprised we didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, it's highlighted in mine, but it was, it's just,
How do you want me to change that?
This is awkward. A land use personnel.
So we're gonna be printing these tomorrow.
Personnel
we've already printed,
Official?
we've already
indicates
printed them
Official?
with it in.
multiple.
Right, right. Yeah, but
You have a
Okay.
land use person,
So do I wanna...
Land use
or you have land use personnel,
Everybody should get
which
the
is
same thing.
several persons.
They'll bring it up, but it's just,
Personnel from land use office.
Or the land use assistant, because there's only one.
Well, no, because it could be the chair,
Building
it could be the,
inspector is
it
under
could be
land
the
use,
chair
isn't
of
he?
one of the boards.
it could be the chair of either the zoning or
member of one of
planning.
the boards.
Could that be referred to as a land use official?
Or land use individual. Make it more subjective.
Land use individual works.
It's just awkward. I know what it means, but
Use official?
What do you
Land
want,
use
boys?
individual.
Individual.
That just makes it
Individual.
broader scope.
Land use peep.
The land use
Do you have your
chair?
computer?
Huh?
Do you have your computer with you?
Oh,
Tim
boy.
sent you some cost items.
The land use chair might not be
Could
able
some
to
point
time.
names or something.
why wouldn't
Or
code
instead of me.
enforcement be on there?
But would you
Just out of curiosity. Didn't think of that, but why wouldn't the code enforcement guy be there?
He really he doesn't enforce health ordinances.
But this is housing standards.
Okay, but it's these standards have to do more, instead of building codes completely, the majority of them are health codes.
So I
The
would,
majority, but
So,
what
in
about
the-
the ones that are in the minority? Are some of those,
Well, that's where the
Those usually fire.
fire chief is, because
True.
of the life safety
Yeah,
codes.
yeah. Electrical heaters. and-
Exactly, so you have,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Okay.
hardwired smoke
Come in there.
detectors.
Doesn't he go with you on a lot of these things anyway?
The three of us go together.
And having him there is a good thing, right?
He is, the health officer can get into more, has the authority to go more places in the code enforcement.
Uh-huh.
So by coming with me, and we always, announce ourselves, who we are, he is able to look at buildings through that code enforcement eye.
I'm just thinking in terms of 2 members at large, and I'm totally about having a tenant in there. But the other member at large, just as opposed to being
Oh, I see.
somebody off the street, any resident who may or may not have any interest in this at all, having the code enforcement guy there might be a better thing for
Through the
the
bags and the
ultimate thing.
recycling.
Well, and you could certainly talk to the code enforcement officer, and if he felt he'd like to participate,
He could be the member at large.
85,
that's right, you
87,000.
could suggest to the
Member at large,
moderator
yeah.
So it's
that...
it wasn't free then. But it's also, I want to see the actual
Plus with
cost.
public hearings, I think, and
I'll just send them.
Reply to it. All right, did you okay that?
Yeah, it'll work.
I emailed it to you, see if you get it.
No.
Yep.
Ah,
I get it.
Is it shared? I mean, can I just view it?
there we go. Still says Catherine Wozner sent it. Just saying.
She's good.
Oh, that's on your computer. You,
That's on you, Joe.
Oh, it's just my
yeah,
computer?
go into your mailbox
I can change that?
and you can change the.
All right.
Contact, right?
All right,
Yeah.
I like it.
The name under
Under the
administrative
You
assistant contact.
you okay with that? You okay with that, Catherine? All right, do we need to make a motion to make this as a proposal, or can we just say, yes, we're gonna go with it
No,
on
it's just,
Saturday?
it's a consensus, there's
Right.
no,
We're all set with it on Saturday? Do you want to present this on Saturday?
oh, it doesn't matter.
Me either, it doesn't matter to me either. Good, because he's gonna recognize you on this warrant.
But then I can do that if you
And
want.
then
I have
as soon
I
as-
have an
Well,
objection.
no, here's
I
the
have an
thing.
objection.
What?
The very last sentence here, it says, "We'll have it ready for warrant for the February 1st, 2017 town meeting." Town meeting's not going to be
Right.
February 1st.
Yeah.
You want it ready for the warrant for the February 1st, for February 1st, 2017?
Deadline.
Someone
Deadline.
else has to make this, they have to. So after the warrant article that precedes it, somebody has to immediately get in that line.
He's gonna ask you to do this motion. You're gonna say to him, I have an amendment to this motion.
But if somebody is, well,
This is probably gonna be
But
in
you
line.
have to move it to the floor, so I'm gonna move it to the floor for discussion, then somebody has to second it. I can't amend it until it's been accepted to be discussed.
Okay,
He's gonna recognize the first person standing in line at the microphone, because that's what he does.
Unless you tell him there's
Give you the
a,
opportunity to bring it to discuss it. He always does.
yeah,
always make
and then
a
you can,
bill
Okay.
and you
Yeah,
bring
that's
your,
right.
for the discussion, and that's
Okay.
when that's what he
I
said he
mean,
was
I can
gonna
do that, but I'm just telling you, that
Okay.
he's very
Well,
fair.
we'll be ready if not.
Especially if he knows that
First
this
one,
is
first
coming.
one.
We will have this ready
Okay.
if not, if that's the case. But Joyce, can you email this to Chuck and let him know that,
Yes,
And you-
why don't we just change that, we'll have it ready for the
the February 1st, 2017 deadline for town meeting?
deadline for town meeting.
I think that works. All right, is there any more business to come before us in a public meeting? Now that we've got that all squared away, it's 7:15, we'll be out of here by 7:30.
Okay, I'm holding you to that.
We're going to go into non-public. Make a motion, we go into non-public as per RSA 91A:3. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh,
No,
save the stakes
Joyce,
in your
is this legal?
save the stakes in your driveway, use them.
What, we want to go into non-public, is it legal, or is it just that which discussed in public?
It's land acquisition.
Okay, right, non-public.
Are we talking about the attorney's
No.
conversation?
Well, because this will border on your discussions as to whether or not you're going to pursue a land acquisition.
Yep,
Because it's a combination,
right. So
technically.
it will be land acquisition and
Attorney-client.
attorney-client, so it's half and
Non-meeting.
half. Roll call vote?
Oh, yes.
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 We are red. Red is on. At this time, I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to legal issues until those legal issues might be resolved, and as it pertains to the acquisition or sale of property until the,
Legal issues are attorney-client privileged information. They
That's
really are non-meeting. So you're really just sealing the,
Attorney-client.
you're sealing the discussion of purchasing. The attorney-clients are not subject to a meeting. They're not subject to minutes at all.
okey dokey then, I would like to at this time, forget everything else I said, Gail. I'd like to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to the sale or acquisition of property until such time as those deals might be done.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Aye.
All right, one more thing before we go home. We want to make a change to Article 6 in the warrant for Saturday, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,000 to assess existing structures located within Tilton for the purpose of housing the Tilton Community Center. The center could provide space to nonprofit organizations. The Tilton Community Center's expenses will be offset by rental income, program fees, local, state, and federal grants. This article is not included in the operating budget recommended by the selectmen in the budget committee. But our amendment is to cross out to hire an engineer consultant. Can you please send that to Chuck tonight, so he gets that? Okay.
And the other one that you just
And
did?
the other one as well.
Do we want to consider as a Board of Selectmen to reveal the information we received from our attorney?
If it comes up as a topic of conversation on any level, then I would be all in favor of releasing that information. Because people are going to want to know, what about this? What about that?
No, well, that's what my thought
Yeah.
was.
We have an answer, then
now we can.
I would make a motion to reveal that information if asked, or if
becomes
the opportunity presented itself. I don't feel like we need to just throw it out there piecemeal.
Okay,
I mean,
so,
we're just talking about this letter, not,
That's correct,
Just
that
this-
letter and the implications thereof. So I would make a motion to release that particular information
if the matter comes up.
if the matter comes up at town meeting.
second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aye.
Do we,
Say Radigan's letter?
Yeah.
do we have to, or that could be next week, say notify the church, or we can do that next week?
Monday.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm moving slow, I'm moving slow.
Taking a pill, I'm taking a pill, I'm taking a pill, I'm taking a pill.